I think he's been great so far, and obviously 3 wins helps as well, and hopefully he'll go from strength to strength.
There's been a lot of similarities drawn between the transition that the Test side are on now and, of course, what we've seen with the white ball format in the last 6 or 7 years. And the man that's spearheaded really that change has been Eoin Morgan. A word from you on the impact that he's had on English cricket and the legacy that he leaves behind.
Well, yeah, he's been incredible. I think from where we were in 2015 after that World Cup, what he did for that white ball side has been nothing short of miraculous, really. It's a complete turnaround. We went from a team that just tried to keep up with everyone else and tried to be sort of competitive. He took that team and turned them into the world leaders. Everyone else wanted to be England, play like England did. To take a team from where they were to, getting world records, breaking all sorts of records. The talk of getting 500 in a one-day game was absolutely unheard of, and his team is the team that's done that and got people talking about that. So his legacy is incredible. It's sad to see him go, I think, because of the amazing job he's done. But obviously for him, he knows it's the right time to go, so you've got to respect that. But he's got to be so proud of what he's done for this team, because it's been amazing.
Are there parallels between that transition and the transition that you find yourselves on right now?
I guess you could, I guess there is a little bit. With Brendan coming in, who's very much cut from the same cloth as Eoin. They've got very similar views on cricket and how it should be played. And I think Ben as well is just naturally aggressive in the way he goes about playing cricket, the way he thinks about the game. So, I think there's definitely similarities there. Hopefully we can go on a journey for the next 5 or 6 years that one-day side has done, so that'd be amazing.
How big a part does James Anderson play in that next 5 or 6 years then?
Who knows? It's highly unlikely that I'll be playing at 45, but you never know. I don't try and look too far ahead. I just want to keep playing as much as I can. I'm still absolutely loving it, still performing as well as I possibly can. As long as I'm doing that, as long as I'm taking wickets, contributing to winning test matches, I'll keep doing it, whether that's a year, 2 years, 5 years, who knows.
Just finally, on India, how do you approach them as a side? What are you expecting?
Well, it's not long since we played them, and we've played them quite a bit in the last sort of 12, 18 months, so we know a lot about them, we know how strong they are. We've got a really good bowling attack and some world-class batters as well. So it's maybe beneficial that we've just come out of a 3-match series against New Zealand, so we've got a bit of momentum behind us. So hopefully we can use that to our advantage. But India, as I said, they're a quality team, can never take them lightly. So we're just ready for a big 5 days.
And it's a big 5 days. You'll be here, able to hear every single ball of on Test Match Special here on 5 Sports Extra and on Radio 4 Longwave. It's all kicking off a little earlier than you might expect. 5 to 10 is when we'll be on air, ahead of a 10:30 start, so a little earlier than you might be used to, so just bear in mind that. The covers are still on here at Taunton, and we can expect them to remain so, I think, for quite some time, because there's a nasty black cloud rolling in over the church. And as I see umpires Sue Redfern and Anna Harris having a conversation with the ground staff, I think the conversation might be, well, realistically, let's be honest, guys, in an hour and 20 minutes when we need to be playing, are we going to be playing? And I think Stefan Schemmel, we know the answer to that.
Although I'm not one to predict the weather, Henry. If it's dry, play cricket. If it's not, don't.
Yes. You made a rather sarcastic comment when I said, I'm looking at my radar app. You said, don't look at the radar app, look out the window.
Well, that's true. You can look at many radars as you want. It's either raining or it isn't.
Well, it isn't at the moment. They're not playing. Anyway, let's talk about the men's side. Steph will both be there at Edgbaston as England look to win the 5th test of a series that started last summer and level it up. It feels a really good place, the England test side. It's a very different team to the one that finished that last series.
It does, and it's almost not worth thinking of it as a 5th test in that series. It is a 5th test in name. It's almost a one-off test, really.
Yeah.
Both teams have got a new coach. Both teams have got a new captain. India might not even have Rohit Sharma as their captain. He's tested positive for COVID-19, so Jasprit Bumrah might have to step in. And last summer, England were being overwhelmed by India. India were by far the better team in that series, and if that match at Old Trafford had been played, you would have fancied that India would have won it and taken the series 3-1. I think it's 2007, the last time India won a test series in England. And if you remember back at the time, there had been no players in the India squad that had tested positive for COVID-19. The positives tests were in their backroom staff. It was India who ultimately decided that they did not want to play. They didn't feel in a position where they could play that test match. And it was postponed, and then we went into that sort of prolonged, protracted period where we didn't really know what was going to happen. If you remember, at first it was said that India had won the series 2-1, and that statement was quickly... oh, no, hang on. Was it the other way around? That it was said that India had forfeited?
They said they'd forfeited the game.
And that was quickly retracted, wasn't it? And then because there was a certain amount of that, they didn't want to be blame apportioned to a particular side or whatever. So we find ourselves in this situation where we're playing the fifth test, what is it, the best part of a year onwards, partly for financial reasons, partly for World Test Championship points. But even though it's a fifth test in the series, it's a one-off. And if you had told India then, you could play now against this England or play in the future against the England that you're going to come up against, you know who they would want to face, because England are battle-hardened from their 3 test matches against New Zealand, which they have won. But the important thing isn't that they've won them, it is how they've won them. Completely transformed from what we saw for the previous year when they won only 1 in 17 tests. Almost every player in their side brimming with confidence. India have had 1 hit out against Leicestershire, where they looked pretty rusty, even though some of the India players were dispersed amongst the Leicestershire side. You have to feel that England are going to go into that match with masses of confidence, a packed Edgbaston, so many people turning up in Birmingham wanting to see this new England side that have just wiped the floor with New Zealand. And England will go into that thinking they can beat India and effectively level what is a 5-match series, the longest 5-match series in the history of Test cricket, I dare say.
Well, indeed, and you make a good point about the comparisons between the England side of September 2021 and the side of June 2022. It is a completely different world.
It is, and let's be honest, it is definitely for the better. It has been grim viewing this England side over the past 18 months. We know the reasons for that. The COVID pandemic and the conditions that has necessitated have hit England harder than any. They've continued to play more cricket. They have travelled further than any other country. There's been plenty of times when they haven't been able to field their strongest team. Sometimes that was their decision. Sometimes it was because they had a couple of series going on at the same time. But to sort of use COVID as the only reason of why England have been so poor over that time would be completely incorrect. They have just played bad cricket, primarily with the bat, but often their plans in the field have been muddled and their bowling has not been incisive enough. That has completely changed under Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes. We know why it is. A lot of it is just giving the players confidence and freedom to express themselves, but it's also because, to borrow Catherine Brunt's phrase, they've been given the perfect dance partners in New Zealand to play this attacking brand of cricket. If England were going to play this way, they couldn't have handpicked better opponents who were going to come back at them in just the same way. I don't want to pour cold water over this. I don't want to sound negative, but I am going to sound a hint of caution over the way England are playing. In these first 3 test matches, particularly tests 2 and 3, they have played them on absolutely belting pitches. At Trent Bridge, New Zealand lost Kyle Jamieson. At Headingley, they effectively picked a 3-man attack. That really helped the way England play. Let's not take anything away from what England have done. They have chased fourth innings targets in excess of 250 plus on 3 consecutive occasions, not been done before in the history of the game. But at some point, England are going to have to find a little bit of light and shade in the way they play their Test cricket. And there's just a couple of things that are starting to alarm me that are coming out of the England camp. One of them was Ben Stokes saying, Brendan McCullum revealing that Ben Stokes had said to him, why don't we try and chase the target at Headingley, which was almost 300 on the 4th day. which would have been fascinating. Stokes' comments after England won that Test match, when he said, "This is a message to everyone in county cricket about how we want you to play in order to get into the England Test side." Now there's suggestions or talk about Jos Buttler coming in as England's Test match opener, which to me seems like quite a strange suggestion. It has been fantastic to watch England play in the way that they have in the last 3 games. Can they keep it up? Is the intention there to keep it up? Is it going to be a completely different proposition when they are facing Jasprit Bumrah, possibly Ravi Jadeja, Ravi Ashwin? Is it possible to keep playing in that way? We are going to find out, because let's not forget, there have been times, particularly at Headingley, where they found themselves, 6 wickets down for 55-ish?
Yeah.
Is it going to be possible? Can England keep doing it? That is the question. And are they going to be able to show the cricketing intelligence to know when you can't always just keep pressing the accelerator? It's fine in white ball cricket because effectively the conditions aren't going to change. You just get as many runs as you can, and that's how you win a limited overs international. That is not the case in Test match cricket. So what are England going to do when they are faced with a different proposition to a New Zealand team that were almost the perfect opponents for this new era?
Yeah, you make a good point. Rain falling again here at Taunton. They have just sent a message saying we can expect a pitch inspection at 5:10, so in about 25 minutes or so from now. I'm not sure that's going to happen because it is raining once again here. In terms of the new approach, the wheels nearly came off on a couple of occasions with that batting lineup, and it will happen. It happened with the white ball side when they played this bold new brand of cricket, as they say. A couple of games went horribly wrong in the intervening years between 2015 and the World Cup win in 2019. So there will be an innings where something goes massively awry, but that is part of the deal with this new way of playing.
Yeah, and in some ways I don't think the England approach under Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes is that different to the way that England played when Trevor Bayliss was their coach. One of Bayliss's big things was, look, it's not about how long you bat for, it's how many runs you end up with on the scoreboard. And it's right that you make that comparison between the way that the one-day team changed post 2015 en route to winning the 2019 World Cup, because the one-day team were bowled out for less than 200 as many times as they made in excess of 400 in that time, just to say it can go spectacularly wrong as many times as it goes spectacularly right. But that is what is so fascinating about this England Test team and how they're going to evolve over the next, I don't know, well, Brendan McCullum's got a 4-year contract. This India Test match is the next big examination for them. It is probably not as big an examination as it could have been had India arrived fully prepared, not splitting their squad over the Test side and the limited overs games. You would fancy England to be massive favourites just because of the relative preparation of the two sides. Looking ahead, South Africa, that they again feel like good opponents for New England to take on. An emerging, improving team, still finding their way on, again, what you'd expect to be good pitches at Lord's, Old Trafford and the Oval, ideal for attacking cricket. But I've just got December circled in my calendar, those 3 Test matches in Pakistan. How are the Brendan McCullum, Ben Stokes England going to approach those 3 tests? They will be must watch, must follow, because you wonder if England can still approach those 3 tests at full throttle.
In terms of Test cricket and how it's played, cricket in general in every format has phases and certain ways that it's done, and one team can completely shift the dynamic, one player can shift the dynamic. Wicket keeping is not what it was prior to Adam Gilchrist to what it is now. You have to be able to bat, that sort of thing. From what we've seen, and I know it's only been 3 matches, but from what we've seen from this Brendan McCullum England, could, over the next 4 years, should his contract be seen out as it's signed for, could Test cricket change beyond recognition on account of how he's encouraging this side to play?
It's a really good question, and it's one of the things that Brendan McCullum was really keen to impress on us when he first met the media a couple of weeks ago at Lord's. I think he'd only been in the country less than 24 hours, and he was coming to speak to us all as his sort of unveiling as his first press conference as England's new head coach. And he was talking about the health of Test cricket across the globe, and that in his opinion one of the biggest ways to breathe life into Test cricket was for England, and England specifically, to play a particular brand of the game. And I think one of the reasons that he says that is because England do tend to draw the biggest crowds, even at home, and then whenever they go abroad, is England have the biggest travelling support and will also draw the biggest crowd from local supporters. So I guess the intention is there from McCullum across this contract. Now, whether or not England can achieve that remains to be seen, because if you remember that the great Australian team under Ricky Ponting, they always wanted to score their runs really quickly. England under Michael Vaughan, they wanted to score their runs really quickly. The first day of the second Ashes test in 2005, England scored in excess of 400 at Edgbaston. So we have sort of seen this thing before, but we are talking about one of the greatest teams to ever play Test cricket in that late 90s, mid 2000s Australians. What we are seeing different at the moment from England is potentially the greatest amount of white ball influence bleeding into the Test game, and it just comes down to, can they keep that up? Can Johnny Bairstow continue to bat in the way that he has been doing? What is Ben Stokes going to do? Because at the moment you would say that actually from the results that Ben Stokes has got with the bat in this series, apart from his knock at Trent Bridge, because at Lords he actually batted properly when he made a half century in the second innings to get England on their way to that run chase. Can Ben Stokes keep batting the way that he does, almost channeling the spirit of Brendan McCullum? Ben Stokes is a better player than that. You don't want to see him just slogging, really, because that's how he has been batting, certainly at Headingley. I guess it's a roundabout way of saying, I don't know, Henry. I don't know if this England team can do that. They're going to give it a good go, but it's whether or not they can succeed, just because Test cricket has got a very funny way of biting you on the backside if you don't respect it.
And there's a reason why it has been played in certain ways for so long.
Absolutely.
And certain truths have held true for all of the well, more than a century of its existence. So yeah, what will be interesting, I suppose, is to see how the reaction is when the wheels do come off, because they will, and there will be a game, it goes horribly wrong, and the papers and the punters will say, what is this? This is rubbish.
I think people understand that, actually.
They accept that's part of the deal.
Already, yeah. I think everyone who's watched England over those last three tests have already come to the conclusion, even when England was it 55 for 6 at Headingley? This was the point where we said, well, look, if you're going to take the knocking off 300 at Trent Bridge in less than 50 overs, then we're going to have to take this at Headingley as well. Now, as it was, England managed to turn it round, playing in exactly the same way that they had done at Trent Bridge. They won't always be able to do that. The question is, when the wheels come off, how quickly can England put them back on again?
Yeah, that's what remains to be seen. I mean, the idea that we'd be discussing Joss Buttler as a potential England Test opener, and this is not one or two people that have suggested it. It's been written in a number of papers. It's been widely touted as an option that could suit the McCullum era.
Yeah, and it's because Zach Crawley is the one, I think only one, England player who is obviously struggling in the Test side at the moment. The worry with Crawley is he seems to be falling, losing his wicket in the same way, and the frustration is he doesn't really seem to be learning. I think off the top of my head he's got the lowest average of any England opener who's been given the opportunity to bat at the top of the order as many times as he has. That second innings at Headingley was pretty torturous, actually. He was involved in the run out of Alex Lees, and then he played a really soft stroke to be caught in the covers of the off spinner Bracewell. But again, this has been the great strength of Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes. They've backed players like Johnny Bairstow, like Jack Leach, like Ben Foakes, like Ollie Pope batting at 3, and every single one of them has delivered. Now, again, McCullum, at the start of his reign, when he first came to speak to us at Lords, he said he'd rather give a player one more Test match than one fewer. Who said that before? Trevor Bayliss. That's another similarity between the two coaches. So Crawley has been backed again, partly because England are winning and partly because these Test matches are coming so thick and fast. Is this going to be Zach Crawley's last opportunity? There's a big old gap between this Test match and the series against South Africa in August. Funnily enough, that's a gap of some white ball cricket where Joss Buttler might be able to continue to prove his credentials as a potential Test opener. So it's a big week for Zach Crawley. Is he going to be able to repay the faith of McCullum and Stokes? Looking else throughout the rest of the England team, we can see now that the top 6 is pretty settled. Ben Foakes, who had to pull out of that Headingley Test first with a stiff back, and then he contracted COVID, so Sam Billings came through. He's trained at Edgbaston today, so the signs are that he will be fit Jack Leach has just taken a 10-foot. He's nailed down that place as a spinner. And we've just heard from James Anderson, who missed the Headingley Test with an ankle problem. Now, all the noises that we're hearing from the England camp is the days of rest and rotation are over. If everyone is fit, they play their best team.
Harsh on Jamie Overton.
Well, that leads to the question, who is being left out? Because Jamie Overton's just made 97. Matthew Potts has played 3 tests against New Zealand and has probably been the pick of the England team.
Leading wicket taker.
Certainly at Headingley. And then you've got Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad. 3 into Ford Don't Go. Craig Overton, he's been in every test squad and he's been carrying the drinks for a lot of it. I think he's probably a chance he'll be doing the same again now that his brother's overtaken him with 97 in a test match. So that is the decision that England have got to make. The thing that Jamie Overton has got going for him is he is a genuine number 8. When England play all of Broad, Anderson, Potts and Leach, their tail is longer than that of a Diplodocus. And there is a chance that, for as positive as they are batting, that tail could fall very, very quickly. Overton gives them that balance at number 8, and that's what's going for him. That is a decision for Stokes and McCullum before Friday.
Yeah, it's a big call, that. It really is, because it's hard to argue that you would necessarily get rid of somebody that's made 97, but equally, how do you not pick Jimmy Anderson if he's fit?
And I'm really glad that I'm not the one who's making that decision.
Or telling either of them they aren't playing.
Well, exactly, and this is the thing that we're going to find out, aren't we? Because McCullum himself, when he first arrived, said this is not about resting and rotating our players, a policy that was potentially well-meaning for England over the past 18 months or 2 years, but ultimately it didn't serve them very well.
No.
And something that we'd all decided that actually England weren't a good enough team not to be playing their best 11 on every possible occasion, that looking ahead at the test match in 3 weeks or 3 months' time, it did them no good. And you'd say that is the case with this England team, particularly in a one-off test against India, where they are actually trying to save a series, and they are still trying to earn World Test Championship points, as unlikely as it is that they can get anywhere in that competition. They will want to be picking their best 11, because again, a lot of these test specialists, they're going to be doing nothing until August, until that series against South Africa. Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad, maybe the odd championship match, but they'll be able to have their feet up. So England will want to pick their best 11, I'm certain of it. What is that best 11? I don't know. That question is for Stokes and McCullum. I suspect if they could, they will probably revert to their best 3 seamers if they think that's Potts, Anderson and Broad, and they park the batting of Jamie Overton. But it would be a tough call to leave out a man who's just made 97 on Test debut.
Yeah, it would be. And, well, they say a good problem to have. It's still a problem, though, isn't it? But England would have taken this as a dilemma, given what they experienced during the winter. So, in the short time, in a couple of minutes or so, we do have some live cricket for you, because we're not going to see anything here for a little while, because of the frustration of the weather forecast. And Phil Long alongside me is looking out into the gloom. Phil, what can you see out there? It looks pretty bleak still, doesn't it?
It does look rather bleak, as ever. We take a look at the Quantox. Can you see them? Not really. Maybe just in the very far distance you can just make out the outline. I can't see there being much more play here today, if I'm being brutally honest.
I'm with you, Phil. Right, well, if there is any more play, we will, of course, bring it to you. Our 5 Live Sports Extra listeners are going to get some live cricket. On Radio 4 Longwave, we're going to head back to regular programming in just a moment. But let me tell you that tomorrow we can have, if we don't see any more play today, as many as 109 overs. So there is still very much to prospect of a result in this game. We'll be back here if we do get any news of any play. I think it's unlikely. Radio 4 Longwave listeners heading back to regular programming. On Sports Extra, time for Surrey v Kent, Mark Church and Ben Watts.
Flash on the, there we go, look, can you see that on the,
oh yes,
yes, in the committee room balcony. So Will Jacks is now going to get a go from the Vauxhall end, so he switched around now as Will Jacks. That was the one over of the enforcer Ryan Patel to switch ends. So the enforcer Patel switching ends from Will Jacks from this Vauxhall end. You're off to do your update for BBC Radio Kent, Mr. Cox. Mr. Cox, Mr. Watts.
yes, I'll be back in a minute.
Cox and Watts. It's Cox on strike, and Watts is off to update BBC Radio Kent. As here is Jacks then with his off breaks, and Robinson will push that one down through backward point. They'll pick up a single. So Robinson nicely played. He's on 14. Daniel Bell-Drummond comes back onto strike on 79. And BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra are coming to us in a second. This is very exciting as this one's pushed by Bell-Drummond down into the leg side. Rolls in there towards mid-wicket and there's no run. 305 for 4 the score remains. Kent trailing by 37 here after being asked to follow on by Surrey. And we are now with BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra on this final day here at the Kia Oval. Good afternoon to you as this one's whipped by Daniel Bell-Drummond off Will Jacks into the leg side. They're going to pick up a couple here. Now the state of play, as Conor McCurr does the fielding there, is Kent following on. Have got to within 35 of making Surrey bat again. They're 307 for 4. There are 21.3 overs remaining in the day. As Daniel Bell-Drummond, who's played brilliantly today, he's 81 not out. He's pushing the off spin of Will Jacks down towards backward point. And there is no run. Surrey batting first in this game, stuck in by Kent. 673 for 7 declared. And then Kent all out for 331. Started today 121 without loss. Following on as Jacks is in. And this is pushed away by Bell-Drummond. Out towards the sweeper on the cover boundary rope. There is Gus Atkinson to do the fielding. So started this morning on 121 without loss, Kent, and then lost Ben Compton, LBW to Sam Curran for 48, Joe Denley LBW to Dan Worrell for 69. As round the wicket with his off breaks goes Will Jackson. Robinson pushes this one back up the pitch. Jacks boots the ball back down there to Jamie Smith. End of the over, so 21 remaining today. 21 remaining in the game. 308 for 4. Kent hanging in there. Jack Leaning and Daniel Bell-Drummond. Fine partnership between those two gentlemen. Came together at 128 for 2. Took it on to 235 for 3. Until Sam Curran bowled Jack Leaning. And then after tea, Jordan Cox. Surrey just kept going at him with the short ball. And eventually he obliged by pulling Gus Atkinson straight to Conor McCurr at deep backward square. Now that opened the door for Surrey. That was after tea, 266 for 4. That was a 42-run partnership here between Ollie Robinson and Daniel Bell-Drummond. But there is still enough time for something dramatic to happen, or for Kent just to bat this out. Here comes Conor McCurr from the pavilion end, over the wicket to Daniel Bell-Drummond, and he tucks this one into the leg side. So he's going to get some short stuff again with the field set up like this. There is Hashim Amla at mid-on then. Rory Burns just in front of square, catching a short leg on the leg side. This is a short leg, a deep mid-wicket, a deep backward square catching a fine leg. We've got a sort of fly slip in Sam Curran down below us. Will Jacks at gully and Ryan Patel wandering around at extra cover. He's going to come round the wicket to the right-hander. Now is Conor McCurr. He's in, and that's short, and that's cut for 4 by Daniel Bell-Drummond. There's nobody out there bar some pigeons. So that has raced away for 4 runs, and it could take a while to retrieve this because Ryan Patel's got to go all the way over towards the stand in front of Archbishop Tennyson's school. So our pitch is sort of over towards the gasometer side of the ground, and it's got to go all the way back there, has Ryan Patel. So someone could order a taxi for Ryan Patel to bring the ball back, please. That will move everything on quickly. 312 for 4. And turning down below us once more is Conor McCurr. He's going to come into Daniel Bell-Drummond. Geddes under the helmet at short leg lurking as this is turned off his hit by Bell-Drummond, and Hashim Amla flings himself to his right and doesn't get anything on it. And round comes Gus Atkinson to do the backing up with a grin on his face as he looks at Hashim Amla. One more to the total, 313 for 4. So Kent now trail by 29. And after this over, 20 left. 20 left in the day. So these two Kent batters have done a terrific job. Bell Drummond in particular, fantastic innings from him today. Got 100 in the first innings, 87 not out of 170 balls in this second innings. But Surrey aren't giving this up. As round the wicket goes McCurr from the pavilion end to Robinson. He's solidly in behind a short ball. Rory Burns comes scampering across to do the fielding up there at mid-off. And there is no run. Been a good game of cricket, this. It really has. I think Kent's game plan was always to try and get away from here with a draw. And they are now within 20.2 overs of achieving that aim. Of course, raining at Taunton in the women's test. With South Africa 27 for 1 in their second innings. As round the wicket goes McCurr off the hip. It goes of Robinson. Turn nicely down there towards Dan Worrell. I'm sure he'll get another go at some point for Surrey. One more to Robinson. Heaves on to 15, 314 for 4. But yes, as soon as they get back out there on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra, back to the team at Taunton. Of course, fantastic day for England yesterday. Nat Siver's 100 finished unbeaten. Nat Siver. And of course, Alice Davison-Richards with her 100, which pleased everybody here, including Mr. Ben Watts, who's back alongside. As over the wicket once more comes Conor McCurr, and full toss that's just chipped down the ground by Daniel Bell-Drummond. He'll want 3 here, will Daniel Bell-Drummond. He will get 3, will Bell-Drummond. That'll bring up the 50 partnership. Robinson and Bell-Drummond have done a very good job calming this all down, because when Cox went, that was in the 95th over. So they've been together just about 10 overs now. That run rate's been going at about 5, which is important. And they're nearly up to 3 runs per over. End of it here on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra, BBC Radio London, BBC Radio Kent. The Surrey live stream with the sun shining here in South London. Looks much nicer over by the Crystal Palace antenna. And at the beloved Selhurst Park of Mr. Ben Watts. And a surprised looking flats, looking surprised, away to our left hand side, and it'll be Will Jacks to continue from the Vauxhall end.
It will indeed, yeah. Games elsewhere. That win for Essex, of course, against Hampshire on that spinning wicket yesterday. Northampton, Warwickshire playing out a draw as Jacks in and bowling and driven away very nicely by Daniel Bell-Drummond out to the sweeper on the offside. They're going to come back for... No, they're not. They won't come back for 2. Perhaps a wise decision in the end to just stick to 1 there. Gloucestershire and Lancashire playing out a draw today. And then Division 2, Notts and Middlesex match drawn. Glamorgan beating Worcestershire by 3 wickets. And then an excellent run chase going on at the moment, with Sussex needing 87 more to beat Derbyshire. So Robinson is back to this delivery, and it drops away into the offside. Yeah, they're just 2 down. Alistair Orr, 132 he's got, 14 fours, 6 sixes, taking the charge. Allsop with a half century as well. Mohamed Rizwan's out there as Jacks bowls to Ollie Robinson, cutting off the back foot out towards extra cover. Doesn't feel like there's too many fielders out in a so-called ring, because they're all around the bat. There's short leg, leg slip, silly point, all around the bat as it's turned away. Almost looked like he nutmegged short leg there with that little nudge into the onside. Ollie Robinson, 15 for him, 91 Daniel Bell-Drummond.
He's very popular at the moment, Ollie Robinson. He's got a lot of friends round him at the moment, Ollie Robinson.
Jacks bowling to him, forward and defending this one. Ollie Robinson, he's been making new friends. He's been up at Durham in the T20 on loan. Back with Kent though for the county championship.
Lovely spot to go for a bit of loaning.
It has been their main wicketkeeper. Certainly when Billings is not around, he's gone for a drive here. How has he hit that into the onside? Inside edge.
Well, it's a big shot against the off spinner at this stage. He's tossed that up wide-ish outside the off stump. He's gone for the big expansive drive, and if that turns, that's going to bowl him, and he's got a thickish inside edge. So as I say, a big old shot that at this stage from Ollie Robinson, but he's got through the over, and Dan Worrell, here he comes. So Dan Worrell, who has bowled beautifully in this game again without a great deal of luck, is back into the attack with 19 overs remaining. So 19 overs remaining. Sam Curran wanders down below us to his fielding position. He sort of made something happen this afternoon, did Sam Curran. Now this is going to be a long chat between Dan Worrell and Rory Burns, the captain.
Is this Surrey's last throw of the dice to try and get this breakthrough?
Yeah, I think so. I think if they could in the next 2 overs knock Bale Drummond over, I still think it would be difficult from here. But we do go back to what we were talking about in the first innings for Kent. It's quite a long tail for Kent. It really is.
Yeah, George Linder next, the left-hander. So you'd have the off-spin of Jacks to try and turn a few out the rough to him. Then you get into the bowlers. Matt Milnes is a competent batter. But then 9, 10, 11, Surrey would be confident in knocking those guys over quickly if they can get them out there. So the onus is on Bale Drummond and Robinson, this very partnership, to use up the bulk of these 19 overs remaining.
Dan Worrell from the pavilion end. Right arm over the wicket he comes to Daniel Bale Drummond. The right-handed Bale Drummond allows that to pass. He's on 91 here, Daniel Bale Drummond. Now he made 100 in the first innings as well. So I think it's fair to say that Mr. Bale Drummond has a good game here. I did actually walk past him last night and he said hello, and I said well bowled. I was a bit tired. I said well bowled, and then I went, oh, I mean well batted, although you did bowl well as well. So well, it didn't go well, but I think he knew what my general gist to him was.
You played some good cricket, Daniel.
Yes, well done, Daniel. As in over the wicket once again comes Worrell to Bale Drummond, who's slapping this one short off the back foot down towards Sam Curran. Curran in amongst the pigeons, does the fielding, and they'll pick up one more. There's been much to admire in this game. 4 centurions for Surrey in their first innings. Amla, Ben Geddes, his first championship 100, of course. Our first class 100 for Sam Curran, and an unbeaten 100 for Will Jacks. And then, fine innings from Bale Drummond. Very good innings as well from Jack Leaning. And today, Bale Drummond's been outstanding for these 92 runs from 174 balls. Here is Worrell then to Robinson. Short one. Robinson sways inside it. And that's taken by Jamie Smith, moving away to his right-hand side. Not tempted there with the short ball. Mr. Robinson there. Unlike the film, of course, as that's taken above his right shoulder on that occasion by Jamie Smith. 319 for 4. Correspondence, Ben Watts, correspondence. Ben Watts, just for listeners on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra, has 3 phones. As in over the wicket once again comes Worrell, and this one's left alone by Robinson off a goodish length outside his off stump. And that's taken by Smith again, moving away to his right-hand side.
Yeah, so one's an old one that has my parents' login for a satellite broadcaster that shows the cricket.
Let everybody on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra know, because they've obviously been with Taunton and Alice Davis and Richards 100 and Nat Sivers yesterday. Basically, you were commentating whilst watching that on third phone yesterday, which was lovely. Quite right too.
And then the other phone's a personal phone and work phone, one of which has got the emails that people are getting in touch with us.
As Worrell's in again, right up on the toes of Robinson, and he pushes this one straight back up the pitch, and there is no run once again.
So Paul Harrison getting in touch saying about that no ball that we had for the one that was dug in and was over shoulder height, does there come a point where surely Kent would rather take the 2 runs but not have the extra delivery, because they don't want any extra deliveries.
Very good point. That could be here till tomorrow morning.
He's also saying about, is there any news on Kent's injuries? Will they be back for the next game?
Over the wicket comes Dan Worrell to Robinson, lets this one go outside his off stump. Does Robinson? Sun's come out now, which is rather pleasant. So the sun is out, and Robinson's got through that over. End of it. 319 for 4 Kent. Another 18 overs remaining in the game. Rory Burns is walking along as if he's going for a romantic stroll there with Daniel Worrell. He's got his arm over his left shoulder in the sun. And 319 for 4, so 23 runs they trail by Kent.
Well, I'm sure county cricket fans up and down the country will be chuffed to hear that Darren Stevens isn't far away from a return. You're probably thinking, Darren Stevens, where's he been? No, he's not retired yet. He's been injured.
He's been here, hasn't he?
He has.
Running drinks out.
Yeah.
Got 100 in club cricket the other day.
Yep, last Saturday.
Excellent.
150 he got, yeah. So I wonder, would Kent stick him in at the Oval on Friday in the T20? He would love that. He loves T20 in front of a big crowd. That would be just the sort of game that Darren Stevens would like to re-emerge for, as this one's a full toss from Jacks to Bell Drummond.
Oh, I hope he does play now, because I've got, who was that footballer that emerged from that smoking plastic cylinder when he got signed? Amazing it was. I'd like that for D. Stevens.
That would be
re-emerging.
Yeah, I like that.
Re-emerging out of a tunnel somewhere with lights and flashing bulbs and smoke and music for the T20 on Friday night.
93 for Bell Drummond. Kent trailing by 22. 320 for 4 in their second innings. Robinson on strike with his team of good mates around him. The close fielders. That's another full toss from Will Jackson. It's been driven away by Robinson for 4 as Ryan Patel had to jump to get out the way. Don't think he's got any shin pads on at silly point.
Yes, he did jump very, very high there, did Ryan Patel. I don't blame him, because Will Jack's doing the right thing here. He's just trying to toss it up outside that off stump and let Robinson drive again, because he tried that in the last over and got that inside edge, but that was a full toss.
In again, Jacks to Robinson. Back he goes. Defends into the pitch. One hand, one bounce for the silly point.
I don't know who's having their photo taken up there on the balcony of the committee room.
Yeah.
I just keep seeing a flashing light.
I know, it's the same chap, isn't it, in the jacket? This is really tossed up and well wide of the off stump. Again, Patel's jumping out the way as Robinson's driving underneath his boots. This time without timing, so just for a single. So Kent trailing now by 16.
Well, I think
17.
Yeah, and I think with 16 to go, if nothing's really happening, Kent do get past that 17.
Bell Drummond on strike, sweeping this one down towards the long leg boundary. Daniel Bell Drummond to move to 97. Very nicely played indeed. 329 for 4. He's having an excellent game, Daniel Bell Drummond. He's having a really good red ball season too. He's got 300s to his name, a couple of 80s. On the verge of maybe a 4th.
Has he done it? Has he ever got 100 in both innings of a game off the top of your head?
No, would be my immediate guess. And I can't think there's going to be too many red ball summers where he's got as many runs as he has in this one. It's been a format that he's struggled in recent times, and white ball cricket has been his stronger suit since he really made that 100 in the tour game against Australia. And there were people talking about him maybe down the line for the test team, as Jack's bowls across him from around the wicket to the right hander, left alone outside the off stump into the gloves of Smith. So 17 overs remaining in the day here on 5 Live Sports Extra from the Oval with Ben Watson, Mark Church. Kent 329 for 4. They still have 6 second innings wickets remaining. As we mentioned though, couple of wickets for Surrey would really open the door to the possibility that they can still skittle Kent as they did in the first innings. But now just trailing by 13 runs, Kent, it just adds another extra bit of a dimension to this, as Kester's getting in touch on email and saying he thinks Kent might be in with a good chance now.
Yes, well, I agree with Kester there, because of course the other thing is if they do get enough runs ahead, and they can always just say thanks ever so much, that's it. But the problem with that as well now, Surrey wouldn't mind a chase.
Oh, they'd back themselves in a chase.
Absolutely. So you'd have to be 50, 60, 70 with only 2 overs to go. So still here for a bit as Dan Worrell is in from the pavilion end. And again, the field's set up as this one's a fullish length and left alone by Robinson. There's going to be a gully in there. There's a backward point. There's the extra cover Rory Burns. And Hashim Amla in his normal position of straightish mid-on. And then 3 men catching in that mid-wicket area, including a short leg. Ben Geddes is under the helm. It's a lovely evening now, blue sky. As Dan Worrell turns once more, comes in over the wicket. And this is left alone once again by Robinson. The right-handed Robinson outside his off stump. But Bell Drummond here, 97 not out from 177 deliveries. Made 102 in the first innings. But in this innings, he's not given a chance. And this isn't one of those where Surrey will look back and think, oh, we had a chance of catching him, or run out chances, where he's been absolutely watertight so far today. As here is Worrell over the wicket to Robinson. Nice looking shot from Robinson, just pushes off a goodish length. Off goes Sam Curran from cover point through the pigeons. Group of pigeons down there, away to our right. Now, they're not the brightest. I've often said this as the throw comes in over the top of the stumps. Not sure if you had a chart of intelligent birds. I'm not sure pigeons would be up there. Mainly because, you know, a number have, as I've said before, a number have picked up injuries during games here, and then have come back for more a bit later on. As Jamie Smith is going to stand up here to Dan Worrell. Now this is fun. Jamie Smith has gone to get the helmet, because Robinson's obviously batting out of his crease to Dan Worrell. So Jamie Smith is standing up to Dan Worrell. And now he's just moving Will Jacks up as well. What's Worrell doing here? In over the wicket he comes to Robinson. Oh, and that one now, he's bowled an offie there.
Yeah.
And that's gone down the leg side. He's running off his full run. As Dan Worrell, there's nothing wrong with that. Dan Worrell, he's bowled an off break. And it's actually turned and gone down the leg side. So this is interesting. It's one of the longest run-ups for an off-spin bowler I've ever seen from Dan Worrell. But it did turn a touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's running and bowled an off break.
Well, and Smith's still up to the stumps.
Still is, yes.
Earl Drummond's on strike now, so is he going
to
do the same again? Bowl the off cutter?
Well, he's got a leg slip in. Now, here he comes again off his full run. Dan Worrell, he's in. Oh yes, and again it's that slow. That's out the back of the hand. Now that was almost like a leg break action from Dan Worrell. That was out the back of the hand, loopy delivery, and then forward came the right-handed Bale Drummond. The embarrassing thing there for everybody who's listening on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra is that obviously this is also going out on the Surrey live stream. They've got one of these little commentator camera things, and as they panned round there, I was attempting to show what Worrell had done. I looked like a really poor magician as round the wicket comes Worrell. Oh, he's bowled another one. It's a leg break this time, and it's been thumped out into the leg side by Daniel Bale Drummond. That was definitely a leggy.
Well, that was almost 100
yep,
for Bale Drummond, but he picked out the man in the deep.
Well, he's on to 98, Daniel Bale Drummond, but that was definitely the leggy there from Dan Worrell. It's the longest run-up for leg spin bowling.
So we really are trying everything now.
Oh, absolutely. I tell you what, if he was allowed to, I know he'd like to come on and bowl a bit of left-arm spin now.
Sam Curran, yeah.
He did it at Beckenham, but I think he's had his 15 overs that he's allowed now. 333 for 4 then. Daniel Bale Drummond 98 not out. Robinson 22, trailing by just the 9 runs.
Maybe there's a loophole in his ECB recovery from injury.
Spin bowling.
Yeah, 15 overs. That surely is only the seamers. What about a bit of left arm tweak? Here is the spinner in the side, Will Jacks, bowling to Bale Drummond on 98. Back he goes. Defends down into the pitch. Kent trailing by 9 now. Trying to save this game. They saved the game with a bit of help from the rain at Beckenham in the reverse fixture. Full one here, and it's driven away up to mid-on, straight to Hashim Amla. He's missed out there, Bale Drummond on the 100.
I tell you what, the ball that could be an interesting one for Bale Drummond here is something like a full toss.
Yeah, the low full toss. Here he comes again. This is pulled away by Bale Drummond out to the boundary and goes through to 100. He looks absolutely exhausted out there as he takes off his helmet and salutes the Kent dressing room. 182 balls with 13 boundaries. Daniel Bale Drummond, hundreds in both innings of this match. Here at the Oval to help Kent seemingly take a draw off the County Championship Division 1 leaders if he can. Help his team bat out the final 15 and a half overs. As Jacks bowls to him again, forward he comes to defend into the onside, and what he did in the first innings was get 100 and then get out. He can't afford to do that this time around.
Well, he made 102 in the first innings. He's on 102 now. This has been a great innings from Daniel Bale Drummond. It really has.
He's facing up to Jacks. Back he goes and just prods him into the pitch. Kent's Twitter feed have just used the words repeat, and then their little graphic saying century to Daniel Bell-Drummond. He's the second Kent batter to achieve that this season. Hundreds in each innings of a game. As Jacks is in, and it's punched away off the back foot by Bell-Drummond up towards mid-off. The other, of course, being Ben Compton against Lancashire at Canterbury. End of the over, Kent 337 for 4. Bell-Drummond is on 102 not out. Ollie Robinson is there with him on 22. This partnership now worth 71. Kent's top order have really taken ownership. Saw that century stand between Compton and Denley. Denley making a half century. Compton ended up a couple of runs short of it. Then another significant partnership between Leaning and Bell-Drummond. Cox making 27 was the last man to go, and then now this partnership too has pushed Kent to within 15 overs of getting the draw. They trail by 5.
Yeah, and I think just the way they've gone about it, Kent has been brilliant today. I think Surrey have tried everything. I think Kent will be I think it was always the game plan, wasn't it, really, from Kent to get away from here with a draw. As Dan Worrell from the pavilion end, they trail by 5 to Kent, and it's all now then driving. What's that hit? Robinson was driving, it went straight down into the turf and to Jacks at leg slip. He's got Smith up, he's still bowling his sort of, they're not even quick off breaks here. Dan Worrell's coming in off his full run with a big grin on his face, and it's his leg break.
Oh wow.
It was the leg break. Now I think what they thought there was that Robinson had driven it straight into the boot of Jamie Smith. Maybe it was the googly. As over the wicket comes Worrell once again. That's short down the leg side. I think that's his flipper. Didn't quite come out right, and taken by Smith away to his left hand side. But no, Daniel Bell-Drummond's been terrific here. 102 from 185, trailed by 5. So nearly into the lead here at Kent. Enjoying this from Dan Worrell though. This is Dan Worrell. At the moment he's bowling leggies off his full run with Jamie Smith stood up. In he comes again. Another one there from him. That's the googly again. And that's pushed into the leg side. It may be that he can't bowl the leg break and it's just coming out like a googly. He's definitely looking to bowl the leg break there, Dan Worrell, and as he's running in he's got a big grin on his face as well, smiling away. When you said about the Kent Cricket Twitter, which does a fabulous job putting repeat, I thought this was a new thing on Twitter where you could just keep repeating the same tweet, as this is a full toss from Dan Worrell. It's driven firmly and it's taken by Ryan Patel in there at extra cover.
Yeah, I should have explained that better. They wrote the words repeat and then reposted the century graphic that they'll have used in the first innings.
Very good, saves a bit of time, and they have to find another photo. Dan Worrell again. So Dan Worrell's coming off his full run. I'm not quite sure what he's bowling at the moment, but it's definitely not pace from Dan Worrell. Over the wicket he comes once again. And again, it's that sort of leg spin action. Comes out as an off break, and that's turned into the leg side by Robinson. So 4 runs away now Kent from making Surrey bat again here on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra. BBC Radio London, BBC Radio Kent, BBC Sports app and website. But he seems to be bowling predominantly, if I can say that word, I'm glad I don't have to spell it, leg breaks here, but they're all coming out as googlies.
Well, if you want to continue listening to Churchy and the team at Surrey versus Kent, well, you can continue to do so on the BBC Sport website and app, but we're going to head to a game with perhaps a little bit more going on in it. Derbyshire taking on Sussex is a game that we've been keeping an eye on. The joy of bad weather here in Taunton, I should just say, where we have got a little bit more rain and frustration at the moment, because we've been waiting to see if they'll get a resumption in play in this one-off test between England and South Africa's women, but frustratingly at the moment, though it has just about probably stopped raining, the clear-up operation is taking place, but they need to be playing, I think, within half an hour, and I think that is looking a little bit unlikely. So we're going to have to probably come back tomorrow with 109 overs available for our next available play. But there is play taking place at Sussex against Derbyshire. Sussex currently 273 for 2. They need 69 runs to win. Let's join Dave Fletcher and Adrian Harms.
I mean, it's tight. That's all I can say, is what comes in and bowls to Rizwan, who's on 49, trying to get to 50, but he can only pick out a fielder.
Yeah, but I think Derbyshire just getting into Rizwan a little bit about that small niggle. Shot.
Now shot turn behind down towards the boundary. Is that going to go for 4? It is. So that's going to be Rizwan's 50. I was just pausing a moment because we're about to update our FM listeners, but what a moment that is for Rizwan, who gets to his 50 and gets warm applause. He's got there from 58 deliveries, and it's a vital contribution to what could be potentially, and I still only use the word potentially, a match-winning contribution. But 64 needed from 12 and a half overs there or thereabouts. As Watt comes round the wicket to the right-handed Rizwan, it's on Midland leg stump and it's played back to him. No run.
Sussex and Surrey in action today, whichever you prefer, whichever your allegiance lies, and Andrew Rayburn has got the latest for us right now.
Well, we have got some finish here at Hove. Sussex are 278 for 3. They've just lost their centurion Ali Orr, who holed out to deep mid-wicket for what was a career best innings of 141. It means that Sussex needs 64 to win from the final 12.2 overs. So it's going to be a nail-biting finish right to the very end here. And we've got commentary on the BBC Sport website, don't forget. Less drama at the Oval, where it's going to finish as a draw. Kent are on 341 for 4, trailing by just 1 run, and it looks like that one is going to finish in a draw. But drama here at Hove right to the very end. About, well, 12 overs to go, and Sussex needs 63 runs to win.
Now you will not miss any of this here on the BBC.
So an update for our FM listeners there. 279 for 3. We'll need studio just to drop us off the. This is a message for our studio just to drop us off the desk. So Rizwan celebrating his half-century in that over. So let's just give you a clearer picture then now. 279 for 3. Rizwan 54. Rawlins yet to get off the mark after 2 deliveries. 63 to win off of 12. So we know that's just over 5 and over. So it's tightened up again now. Despite that boundary from Rizwan, it's still, well, still very tight. Still lingering around that 5 and over mark.
Reese left arm round to the right hander. It's just defended under his eyes on that middle stump line. Just returning to the top of his mark. He's just walking back to the top of his mark. Here Derbyshire a little bit more chirpy in the field. Just trying to get a little bit of buzz going because the game is not over yet. Reese again just firing it into that leg stump of Rizwan, who plays it defensively, and another dot ball from the over.
So still got programme in our ears, unfortunately, but we'll hopefully, if the studio can hear us, that will they'll be able to drop us off the desk.
Reese coming in again, left arm round into the leg side. It's flicked into the leg side. Mid wicket comes round to pick it up, send it back, and passing it round. It's a good song, but actually.
Yeah, that was the song we had in our ears was Harry Styles, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So hopefully you won't be able to, you might sometimes be able to hear that in the background when we've got programme in our ears from the studio, but David Miller, our esteemed producer, has sorted that out.
Reese coming over, a bit of a loose ball there. Keeper did well to stop that going from 4, because that would have gone if he didn't.
Okay, so what we now balls wise, 68 deliveries.
62 to win. That's It's close. It's going to be, I reckon this game's going to be taken very deep into the final 5 overs. Reese again, just like off something. Rawlins has looked to put that over the ropes, but he's actually ended up just pushing it to point.
Yeah,
sliced it. A single.
Sliced it leading edge a little bit.
Yeah, but that shows the intent of a roll that Rawlins has been sent in with there to get the job done. Reese just turned to the top of his mark, coming left arm round to the right hander here. He's just striding in, just to give him a little bit of drift. Played very well by Rizwan there, just opened the face of the bat, played it down to short third man. The bat brings the end of the over, so Rizwan remains on strike.
Yeah, they got the man on the that sort of short third man, haven't they, that to cover off that shot from Rizwan. But I think the 2 times it's really succeeded, he's got it so fine that man hasn't been able to do anything about it anyway. So
yeah, definitely, just especially on the bowlers bowling at just outside off, it's just easy just to run the ball down.
Wow, 11 overs, 66 balls, 60 to win.
Yeah, definitely just going to come down to a wire here.
Now Watt is going to continue to bowl, and he's going to bowl round the wicket to Rizwan, who's on 56 not out. Rizwan goes to paddle sweep round the corner. He's going to get a single out of it. Moves on to 57. Most important figure, 283 for 3, 59 to win. I think, if I'm ahead of the scoreboard. Yeah, I am. So
yeah, it's now
59 to win.
Caught up with you now.
65 deliveries. He's going to be counting them down bit by bit. What a finish we've got here at Hove.
Yeah.
Under relatively leaden skies again. This is all focus on the action in the middle, and attempted sweep from Rawlins, he doesn't get hold of at all, and it just goes back to the bowler. So we are joined once again by the master himself, Dave Fletcher. I'm going to hand over to him and Chloe to take you through the next stage of the game.
Yeah, Watt just giving it a little bit of a shine at the top of his mark.
Can't stand it. Can't stand it.
Bit of a variation ball there, just been flicked into the leg side. They've just taken another one from it.
That's the fella. That's the one we want. Gives me half a chance. Half a chance. 64 balls to go, 59 runs to win.
Yeah, but they keep on ticking over like this, even
Where's
without...
your money? I think they've just asked for the lights to be put on.
What? In again, left arm round to right hander. It's big shout there.
Never out, was it? Didn't even look like it was going to be given out.
No. Bowler just looking for a bit of a chance there.
We've sent Delray Rawlins out for an obvious reason, because he's the big hitter, but he's got 1 from 5 deliveries. It's going to take him a few deliveries to get up to the pace of the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. What? And again, it's been paddle swept really well by Rizwan Bair. That will find the boundary. Played that ever so fine. And 6 from the overs so far, with 1 to come.
Yeah, so 61 balls, 54 runs. Sussex firm favourites at this stage. Derbyshire have got to find a way to stem the flow of runs, really.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem nowadays is having a bowl into a field is batters can score pretty much 360. So what field can you set?
Yeah, well, he's got 2 men backward of square on the leg side, but he's not going to try that paddle again, surely.
And again, shuffles down, hits it back to him, he throws it back at the keeper, and that brings the end of the over. So Sussex are 288 for 3. They need 54 to win off 10 overs, 60 balls. 54, that's the kind of maths I can do.
Yes, that makes yeah. You know, we're going to get into the bits where the maths becomes a bit tricky, and that's no good for me. No good for me at all. Lewis Rees is going to continue from the Cromwell Road end. 3 overs, 1 for 10 in this current spell. He's only bowled 5 overs in total in this innings. His first 2 overs went for 16, and he was a little expensive and removed from the attack almost immediately.
Yeah.
What can he do here? His field, well, they're all over the place.
Yeah, we're just going to
I'll change the ball, might as well change the ball. He'll give me a chance to tell you what the field is. There's a long on, there's a mid-wicket, and there is a long leg. There is a short third man.
Deep square as well.
Oh God, I missed him. Yeah, no, I missed him. He looks like he's wearing one of those hanging baskets as a hat out there. You're right, I hadn't spotted him, thank you. Now there's a big discussion, so I'll give you the offside field in a moment when everybody goes back into position. Umpire Graham Lloyd says, yep, this ball's no good. That'll be about the 17th ball that's been changed today. So
how many ball changes have we had so far?
I don't know, I've stopped taking notes. We've had at least 4, I would say. At least 4. But this one will be changed. So Brenda will come out with her bag of balls. Here she comes. Absolute madness, isn't it? Absolute madness. To get that up to speed, I'll do that and hope that I don't ruin the computer. I don't think I can ruin the computer just by refreshing a page. Oh, I think I might have done actually. All I've got now is, oh dear, what have I done? Oh, there we are. There we are. No, we're all right. We're all right. They're still changing the ball out there, incidentally. That's the one we need. 54 from 10 overs, and that last over went for 6. The one before went for 3. The one before that went for 5. So they're banged up with the required rate, 5.5. Yeah. What they need is a couple of maidens, and that would put the pressure right on Sussex. Brenda gets a round of applause. Quite right too, as she leaves the field with her bag of balls. She's been busy. Tell you what, I don't know if she gets paid, but if she does, she's earned every single penny, and if she doesn't, she needs a pay rise. Well done, Brenda. So here we go, let's go back to the serious stuff, shall we? It's the nerves that are kicking in here. So I can tell you the offside field now. I say there's a shortish third man. I'm not really sure why he's standing there. He's 20 yards in from the boundary. Yeah. There's a man out on the point boundary. Anuj Dal is in at extra cover. Billy Godleman's at mid-off, of course, because he's always at mid-off. I think we do have... Oh, there we go. Mark Watt shouldn't have been where he was, so he's being called up a bit. He's going into a... Well, it's still short third man, but he's about 30 yards from the bat. There is a man in close at mid-wicket as well. That's Wayne Madsen. As Rees begins a new over, it's dabbed out into the offside. Straight to Watt. They scamper through for a single. Rawlins moves on to 3. 289 for 3. So I'm having to write these down now as we count down. 53 from 59. It's like a T20 match, for goodness sake. What's going on? To do one last Friday when Derbyshire ended up trying to defend 11 off the last over.
Oh wow.
Against Lancashire, and Big George Scrimshaw conceded 5. It was sensational. In comes Rees and balls, and that one's turned into the leg side again by Rizwan. He goes through for the single. Was a bit of bat involved. 52 required. I keep wanting to say that Derbyshire needs 7 wickets, but it seems almost pointless.
We've got 10 overs to do it.
They've taken 3 in 66. To get 7 in 10 will be quite impressive. They'd take 3 in 4 at the end of the Sussex first innings. Delray Rawlins very upright in his stance as Rees bowls to him, and he plays it into the ground and back to Rees, who jumps in the air and claims it two-handed at the end of his follow-through. 57 balls to go. There will be no more than the 16 overs. I know it keeps saying minimum after 9 overs and 4 balls remaining in the day, brackets minimum. Nah. There will be no more than that. I can virtually guarantee it. The last hour started at, I didn't make a note, 5:16. Next delivery, that's a swinging delivery, and it's played out into the leg side. It's going to be fielded out there by Hayden Kerr. They go through for another single, but there was definitely some swing there.
Yeah, a little bit of shine of what I think they've been. Oh, this is the new ball.
This is the new one, absolutely. Well, that's the whole point, is that there's just no consistency though, because the ball that goes soft, it goes out of shape, so they get a new one and all of a sudden it starts doing stuff, then it goes out of shape, gets soft, they change it, then it starts doing something. I mean, it's ridiculous this season. Here comes Reese around the wicket, bowling to Rizwan, clipped into the leg side for another single, and it's fielded out there at mid-wicket by Shan Masood. 52 to win. Off 55. This is exactly why more and more people should be watching county cricket. Of course, it's been absolutely terrific. They're shaking hands, of course, at Trent Bridge after a terrific second innings by Middlesex. So that's game's ended in a draw. Reese bowls, driven aerially up towards mid-off. Billy Goldman have a shot at the stumps and misses, and they do scamper through for another single. Delray Rawlins moves up to 5 now. 54 balls to go. And they require 50.
49.
Yeah. It says 50 on my computer. It says 49 on there. That's interesting then. 292. Oh, it hasn't added the extra one. Yeah, no, I don't know why I've been telling you all. It's all been wrong anyway. 49 to win.
Of 9 remaining.
Yeah, I'll leave the next set of calculations to you.
It's all right.
Because I'm completely lost.
A little bit of shine in the ball there. I've did move quite a bit actually in the previous over with this new ball.
It's a magnificent laptop, this, isn't it? Look at that.
It's great.
The crack there. I've never seen a laptop this big. You need a trailer or a roof rack. Blimey.
What coming left arm over. The attempted sweep, he's just missed that, has Rawlins. Yeah, the crack is quite something
Isn't
there.
it?
I wonder how that happened.
Looks like it's been dropped to me. Mine's got a bit of tape on the far right hand corner that keeps it together. Not that one, the one in the other room. This one's a good one, the one in here.
What coming in again? It's just trying to reverse paddle sweep back. That's just beating the man. It's running away. That's chased very well by the fielder there. They take 2 from it. It's just been sent back in a little bit of shine. As what I've just Rizwan and Rawlins just having a little bit of a chat, and back down he goes. Mid on, just giving himself a little bit of room, making his way back towards the boundary. As what comes in a little bit more flight, and that's been, well, no good putting mid on back on the boundary when it goes over the ropes like that. There's no way anybody's stopping that. It's hit. I'm not sure where it's hit, but that is 6 runs for Rawlins.
Terrific blow from Delray Rawlins out over long on Lewis Reese. He's picked up a ball. That'll do. Yeah, that'll do, Lou. Doesn't matter, because they'll be changing it in a minute. I don't think that is the ball that's gone over the rope, but if it's got, I don't know if it's got there.
I don't know how it's
got there, because it hit quite a long way down the big side screen that is the front of this building. But if they're going to have this ball, it might be a good one. Who knows? 41 to win now, though. It makes a little difference, really.
What in again, just worked into the leg side by Rawlins, and they take 1 from it. So it just rotates to strike. They surpass the 300 mark, so Sussex are 302 for free. And they require 40 to win.
Good news, I have no more updates, so I don't have to tell anybody back in Derby that Derbyshire have lost. They'll never know.
I won't ever know. What coming left arm around to a right-hander. He's just driven it down to long off there. It comes and picks up. They take another single from it. They've got 1 left in the over, and they've got 10 from it so far. So Rawlins on strike. It's coming back left arm over to the left-hander. And that's just short outside off. He's just to work that, but it's just ended up straight back to him. That has a dot to bring the end of the over.
39 off 48.
39 or 48.
I think.
Fills me with confidence. I think
I've
got me in there.
absolutely no idea. No idea. Maths. Lewis Rees is going to continue from the Cromwell Road end. And his deploy is now down at third man. Long since dispensed with his fielding pads. And Mohammed Rizwan on 64 is on strike, despite my computer saying otherwise. 303 for 3. 64 off 72, Mohammed Rizwan, 7 fours and a 6. In comes Lewis Rees around the wicket, outside the off-stump bowls, and he's driven for 4 runs.
That's a lovely shot.
35 to win now off 47. They can't fail to win this one, Sussex. I'm trying everything here. I'm trying everything. They cannot fail to win. It would be a huge blow if they didn't win, I think, from this point.
Well, it'll be quite something. This is their 20th.
First one in 20 matches. Yeah, that might be part of my question to Mickey Arthur. Here comes Rees, full delivery outside the off stump, just pushed away out towards the point boundary for a single. Connors fields, 34 to win off 46.
Yeah, there we go. Derbyshire will just have to draw this out now for as long as they can.
Well, just bowl up a couple of pies and let them finish it off. We can all get on with the rest of our lives, really, because we know what's happening. Rees over the wicket to the left-handed Delray Rawlins, who just pushes it into the onside, and it's fielded there by Wayne Madsen. Dot ball. Haven't seen many of them. We have had in the last 2 overs there were only 3 dot balls. That's the first of this over. That's been Derbyshire's problem. Not only have they not been taking wickets, but they've been leaking runs. And I can't help thinking that perhaps they should have enforced the follow-on yesterday at 3:45. Here's Rees bowling. That's driven into the offside by Rawlins, fielded by Anuj Dal. 44 deliveries to go now. 34 runs required. It's not hindsight, of course, because I'm fairly sure that I was adamant yesterday that the right thing to do was enforce the follow-on. At that point, if you enforce the follow-on, they can't lose. You actually can't lose the game. You're not forced to win it, but you can't lose it. Rees is in and bowls. That one is thrashed into the leg side. What a catch that is from Wayne Madsen at mid-wicket. And Delray Rawlins goes now. They're 4 down, Sussex, with 308 on the board. They need 34 to win from 43 deliveries. That is a stunning catch from Wayne Madsen. Lewis Rees has his second wicket of this spell now. Rawlins goes for 14 off 18 deliveries. So didn't really do, I suppose he did do the job he was sent in to do, but I think they were expecting him to crack on a bit quicker. 308 for 4. 34 to win. Well, it just sort of, but this, no, good grief. You can just imagine needing 4 to win with 1 wicket left off the last ball. We'd be scrapping. I'll give it you. I'll give it you, Andrew. You're all right. You can have that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, absolutely. So Ollie Carter's the new batsman. No pressure, Ol. We only need 34 for the first win since April last year. You're going to be facing, and Derbyshire have just got their tails up a little bit. Lewis Rees 2 for 36 overall, now 2 for 20 in 4 overs and 5 balls of this current spell, so well bowled him. Mark Watt has gone for 91. In fact, his last 12 overs have been a little expensive, 59 off them. I think he's bowled pretty well, Mark Watt. Wicketless in this innings. And he's got 1 ball to face of this over, and then there'll be 7 overs to go. And Sussex need 34 to win. And It'll all be down to Tom Allsop getting out on the mid-wicket boundary. No, he was caught by Billy Goldman, wasn't he? He actually hit one up in the air. It was Ali Orr. It was out on the mid-wicket boundary to Hayden Kerr. So Wayne Madsen, who's just been fielding at mid-wicket, is now going to a short, well, it's a backward point really. He's quite a long way away. It's a right-hander, of course. Ollie Carter, the wicket-keeper batsman.
Yeah, we're bringing everyone up for this ball on the offside.
They sort of don't want to give him a single, but I'm not sure that that's the right thing to do. Anyway, I suppose they've got so few runs to play with. They've got a man out on the cover boundary. There's a man down at third man, extra cover, mid-off, backward point, mid-on, mid-wicket, long leg, and a man out on the square leg boundary. And the final ball of the over is a dot ball as Carter plays it out into the offside. 42 deliveries to go then. 34 runs required by Sussex. And Derbyshire, wow, they only need 6 wickets now. Is it 6 they need? Yeah, it is 6 they need. Well, my lifeline's been taken away. If you could take the power out of my laptop and chuck it over here, Andrew, that'd be great. Yeah,
almost.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about that. Lovely. It says somebody else's name on the bottom of it. I didn't steal it. I just borrowed it.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. It's not technically mine, but well, it's the BBC's. There we go. Notts then top of the table, 146 points. Middlesex second on 135, Glamorgan 1, 2, 3, and then Worcestershire 108, Derbyshire 104 before these points are added on.
What left arm round for it. Right hand has just flicked it into the leg side, has just got another single from it. I think the batters for Sussex today have ran really well, so we've just haven't had too many dot balls. It's just continually just kept the run rate ticking over and just kept it going. So everybody in on the leg side except from a deep square have mid, off, up, extra cover point is just coming up then a backward points with a slip as well. So we're going fairly attacking now with Derbyshire. Off of a new batter, what comes in is just darts down the track a little bit, misfield. And they'll get just one from it. It's not what you want though from Derbyshire perspective. It's only misfield.
Hayden Kerr let that ball go through his legs. No, not ideal.
Not ideal. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 men on the boundary for Rizwan. So really protecting that boundary now. What bowling is cut away to deep point, he comes round and picks it up, rotate strike again.
Did you notice that was a 24-yarder from Mark Watt? He bowled from 2 yards behind the crease. He has to get level with the umpire and he's allowed to bowl. He does that a lot in white ball cricket, but he's done it twice today. Didn't do it at all at Chesterfield. I did ask him about it and he said you have to respect the red ball game. Well, he's bowled 2 today.
Didn't notice that actually. What and again has just flicked it, shout of catch, but not a chance. Mid wicket picks it up, passes it back to Watt, who returns to the top of his mark. Cool.
I can't watch.
Unfortunately, you're gonna.
Unfortunately, that's the correct word.
Watt just playing with the field a little bit now. In he comes. Couple of strides in, just into the right hand up. That has stayed here, has gone straight up. They've tried to get it on deep square, but that is 6 runs for Carter, who moves on to 7 runs off 4 balls.
Making full use of that short boundary, and you've got 2 really, haven't you? So if you've got a short boundary, Sam Connors ran round it and held out his left hand in the vain hope that it might hit it and bounce back into the field of play, but he couldn't get anywhere near it in the end.
Yeah, no, they're definitely making use of that short boundary today. But Watt's just moved that fielder out there just slightly round, and it's a defensive shot by Carter to bring the end of the over.
Chloe, thank you very much. Chloe Brewer, everybody. She's been brilliant over the 2 days she's been with us. I'm going to welcome back Andrew Rayburn now for the final 36 deliveries of this contest. He's going to call Sussex home at some point over these 36 deliveries. I don't think there's any question about that.
Well, you don't know. I mean, they've lost a couple of wickets since I was last on, I think. So
that's why you came back, isn't it? Couldn't risk them losing anymore. Couldn't risk them losing anymore.
But yeah, so it's now dead on 6 o'clock. A few people coming in after work. 25 runs to win from 6 overs.
My word, they need a maiden or two.
As Luis Rees comes round the wicket and bowls, and driven out towards the cover point boundary for a single by Carter. I might have stolen your over here.
It doesn't matter.
You sure, Dave?
Yeah, you carry on.
So 319 for 17 for 4, is it?
18.
Yes, 24. Staring at the scoreboard, I can't even read it. Got the sun on it. To my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
I am in the bulletin for some reason. I'm going to just nip next to it at the moment.
Okay. Dave's gone. We're going to get bonus Chloe, I think. Not sure what's happening. Now we're going to get Rees coming in. Left arm round the wicket, bowling to Carter. Carter cuts. Oh no, he goes to cut, but he's beaten. And there was a brief yelp from Rees. He thought he got his man, but no edge on it.
Yeah, definitely. Am I? Yeah, I am.
You're on, yes.
I am. I wasn't sure.
You're broadcasting to the nation and beyond. Chloe Brewer of the South East Stars, who's been with us on day 2 and day 4. Did you on day 2 expect to see this on day 4?
No.
No. As Luis Rees comes round the wicket, left arm over, bowls to Carter. It hurries onto him, and they're going to get a couple of runs here. Sussex fans cheering every run that is scored. That one whipped away through mid-wicket. 22 to win from 33 deliveries.
Yeah, they've run really well there. They've run the first one really hard, and just cruised for the second one.
What drama we have. What drama.
And just cut away.
Cut away for 4. Brilliant from Ollie Carter, who is really taking this on and starting to make that total to win look minuscule.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything like outrageous. He hasn't come in and tried to send it back straight over their heads, but he's just played really good cricket shots.
13 from 8, Ollie Carter. Is he going to be the one to finish it? Round the wicket, Luis Rees. Oh, that's a shorter one, which the wicketkeeper won't fancy, and he's going to run through for a bye. He's up to the stumps, is Brooke Guest, and that was a really awkward one for him to keep a hold of, and he sort of tipped it over the bar, and they were able to scamper through for a bye. Well now. Frustration, more frustration for Derbyshire, who thought they had fought their way back into this, but Sussex are on the verge of a momentous county championship victory. Can they see it through? Luis Rees comes round the wicket, left arm hooked away by Rizwan, and that's going to go for 4 more.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be bowling there with not many on the board now.
Hooked down to deep backward square leg for a boundary. Rizwan to 76 from 78 balls. 13 runs to win. From 5 overs. And with steam coming out of his ears, Dave Fletcher is entering the commentary box.
And at Hove for us is Dave Fletcher. With the first things I heard when I put my headphones on, it's a timed bulletin on a Wednesday because there's a pre-rec about the Derby County story currently being played on Radio Derby. And I haven't been on a Wednesday night ever, and I did my report because I'm thinking, well, it's a timed one, I better keep it nice and brief. And then my sports colleague is there, and I said, why am I in that? He said, oh, well, we thought with it being so close, have you not had my WhatsApps? I said, no, my phone's at the other end of the... Anyway, off you go.
As this one is your over, I think,
Is
Dave.
it Mark Watt balls, and it's pushed into the onside, and there's no run.
Smooth. I don't think anybody would have noticed.
I've completely lost track of 13 off 20 or 29, is it? No, it's more than that. 31. This one is, no, it can't be 31. This one's pushed out into the offside. 24 and 5, 29, 28 now. 13 off 28. Right, I'm back in the room. Just about.
I need a degree in maths just to do this job.
Well, there's a 24-yarder, and that one is cut away. Oh, it was just beyond the dive of Leas Deploy at backward point, and goes away for 4, and it's down to single figures now. 9 off 27. There's only one winner of this, Andrew. You better do these balls because this could finish in this over.
Well, this is something, as I said, momentous for Sussex. Thank you, Dave, because not only have they not won a county championship match since April of 2021, but really they had no right to even be in this position as of just over 24 hours ago. If Derbyshire had enforced the follow-on, they wouldn't be in this position. And they're going to take a quick... No, they're not going to take a quick single. I think Ollie Carter got a little bit overexcited. But 19 games without victory, and it's the 20-year-old from Eastbourne, Ollie Carter, who is at the crease. 17 from 13, 9 to win Sussex from 26 deliveries, as Watt comes in and bowls, and now Carter goes and looks, smashes that over long leg, over mid off, sorry, long off to 6. I'm getting all my fielding positions all muddled up into one. Good job that wasn't the running runs, because they'd have had to clip that. But that's for 6.
That would have been quite the editing job. That really would. I'm not bad at editing, I've got to say, but I'm not sure I'd have fancied that.
Oh, man.
Right, concentrate. Right. Andrew, concentrate. This is a big moment. Don't panic. You'll be all right.
Carter faces up to Watt. He goes to swing. He's been trapped in front. LBW. He knew it, Ollie Carter. So he's not going to be the man to see Sussex home. Derbyshire have a 5th wicket. Is there a late sting in the tail? No, says Dave. No. But Ollie Carter goes for 23 from 15. Sussex, who need 3 to win, are 339 for 5. Carter trapped in front. LBW. And he walked straight away. He knew as he tried to swing that one, which would have been the winning runs if he connected, but he missed it, was trapped in front. Ollie Carter out for 23.
The really good news from a Sussex perspective is that was the last ball of the over, which means that Mohammed Rizwan will be facing. So it doesn't really matter who the new batsman is, because the set batsman is going to be facing and will therefore score the winning runs, and they'll win with in excess of 3 overs. It's Daniel Ibrahim who's coming in excess of 3 overs to spare, which is absolutely remarkable, and all because...
Are you going to mention the follow-on?
Well, it's madness.
I don't know why you hadn't done it before.
Absolute madness. I was harangued, and I'm going to use the word harangue now, on my way going for a pizza by somebody who's here supporting Derbyshire, saying, oh, are you a bit more positive today? Well, quite frankly, no, because they should have enforced the follow. They couldn't have lost if they enforced the follow-on. 17-year-old Dan Ibrahim comes out to the crease, but he will be the non-striking batsman at the start of this over from Luis Rees, which is going to be bowled to Mohammed Rizwan, who actually had a bit more of a drink and possibly painkiller, I'm not sure, as that wicket and change of overs happened. Sussex, 3 runs to win, chasing a momentous victory. Luis Rees comes in and bowls. It's been flicked around the corner by Mohammed Rizwan, who's going to get a single. And the body language from the Derbyshire fielders suggests that they know the game is up. 2 runs to win.
Sussex 340 for 5.
Surprised it's taken them this long.
23 deliveries remain in the game. 10 past 6 at Hove. The grey clouds, rather symbolically perhaps, have given way to blue sky and white fluffy ones.
Look at that slip cordon.
So we've got 3 slips, or two slips and a 4th slip, as Luis Rees comes round the wicket and bowls, and flicked away by Ibrahim, but into the hands of the man at mid-wicket on a couple of bounces. 2 to win.
Does it say +2 the over 8 or -2? I hope
Minus. Well, if it's in
it's in yellow.
yellow,
I hope it's not -2 and they lose 2.
it says minus. It looks like it says -2 on the.
I think it's plus.
Other scoreboard.
I think it's plus on that one. No, the red one over there is the second.
In comes Luis Rees round the wicket, bowls, and they're going to come through for a quick single. Whether it's bat or pad, I'm not sure, but it's going to be leg byes, and it means that the scores are level. So Derbyshire, having made, well, what did they make first innings, Dave? Remind me again.
551 for 8 declared.
551 for 8 declared, are not winning this match now. That's one thing we do know.
Never seen tie.
You're going to need 5 wickets to see that. Rizwan faces up. Sussex need 1 run to win. He drives, and it's been fielded by the man at short extra cover. One of many men in the ring on the offside. Don't even. Well, there's 2 short extra covers. There's a backward point. There's a first slip and a third slip. There's a short mid wicket. There's a square leg. There's a mid off and a mid on. Nobody on the boundary, obviously. Sussex need 1 run to win. It's been flicked away by Rizwan, who can't find a gap. And there's picked up at square leg.
Pakistan international teammate Shan Masood fielding there at square leg. I'm sure they'll have a big hug when the game is finished, and they'll jump on a plane together and go to Sri Lanka.
Sussex needing 1 run for a momentous county championship victory as Rees comes in and bowls. It's been pushed up by Rizwan. He can't find the single again to mid-on.
Well, that's good, because it means that Dan Ibrahim can hit the winning run there. 19 years of age, that'd be a nice. Is it 19?
17.
17 years of age, that'd be nice for him to hit the winning run. Well,
born in Burnley.
No, well, no wonder he's good then. Proper Lancastrian. Excellent. That takes a bit of the edge off it for me, that.
Played club cricket in Brighton for Preston Nomads. First class debut last June.
Never tasted a victory then.
Never tasted a victory. Youngest cricketer to score a half century in the history of the county championship, aged 16 years and 299 days.
Good effort.
Sussex needing just 1 run for a momentous victory. Ibrahim sweeps, and Ibrahim gets the winning runs. The 17-year-old Dan Ibrahim has completed a historic victory for Sussex, who have come from nowhere to win this match. And not only that, but they've ended the long drought. The waiting is over. And Sussex win the county championship match for the first time since April 2021. 19 matches without victory, and they have finally shaken that off their back, and they've beaten Derbyshire by 5 wickets, incredibly, having been in a position where they could have been forced to follow on, but Sussex have managed to pull off an incredible victory, chase down 342 in a day.
Well, that is where we will leave our coverage from a remarkable conclusion to that game. Our thanks to Dave Fletcher and Adrian Harms. What a fine victory that was for Sussex, given everything where we were with a massive first innings from Derbyshire. But cricket can do funny things. It's been doing some pretty funny things down here in Taunton as well, because believe it or not, despite it being 6:15, we might yet get some cricket. And there's been all sorts of confusion about scheduled closes of play and when they need to be playing by, and there was a lot of talk that it had to be 6 o'clock, which was the original scheduled close of play, and then it could be 7, and then there was a pitch inspection, then there's been another pitch inspection, and now the umpires are coming out again. The latest that we've heard, the umpires were interviewed were about 15 minutes or so ago on television, and apparently some wet patches on the edge of the covers and the old wicket ends. The ground staff working hard to sort them out. Sue Redfern and Anna Harris are striding to the middle, and the latest we have is when we get a confirmed restart time, there'll be a new minimum overs needed for today, and we can play up until 7:30, so potentially there is the prospect that we could get quite a lot more cricket. Anya Shrubsole's alongside me, as is Phil Long, our scorer. Cricket's a mad old game, isn't it, Anya?
Yeah, it's been a mightily frustrating day for lots of reasons. It's been throughout the day seemingly quite a lot of inactivity when it hasn't been raining. I mean, I was round nearby the England dugout when they took tea, and it didn't rain for 20 minutes, whereupon no one did anything to get rid of any covers, started to do some work, and it rained again. So there just seems to be a few things that are a tad confusing. I'm not sure South Africa will be thrilled if there's some more cricket this evening. I think they were probably hoping that would be that, but if we do get back out, it would be another good opportunity for England to try and prize out a couple more wickets.
Well, yeah, South Africa and probably England, to be fair, would have thought, well, that's the day done. We'll start thinking about putting on our comfy shoes and heading back to the hotel. But that's not the case. It looks like, I mean, to all intents and purposes, it looks like we're going to see a resumption. The ground staff are currently repainting lines and doing all sorts of other bits and bobs, so we may yet see more cricket.
I wouldn't be surprised if after this inspection we hear news of another pitch inspection. I wonder if that's a... Phil, is this a record for
Phil, can you
pitch
check
inspections in a day?
Well, we must be approaching it, because we've had 3 in about the last 20 minutes. Yeah, every 10 minutes we've had a look at one thing or another.
Yeah, do you know what will happen though, don't you? They'll get out there.
And it will rain.
It will rain.
Charlotte, our producer, keeps showing me, she gets notifications pop up on her phone saying rain to start in Taunton. I think it was 12 minutes at the last time we saw.
Really? What, from now? No. Oh, no. Let me have a look at the latest. Stefan's not in the room, so he can have a go at me for looking at the radar. Oh yeah, no, we've got about half an hour till the rain starts, so we might get a 10-minute blast. Come on!
It's been well worth the wait.
It's been a ridiculous day.
Well,
it's been a completely ridiculous day.
It's so ridiculous that Melissa Story has decided to dress as a dementor. She's pulled her hood up over her head. Can't believe that we're still here. And Phil Long is looking increasingly tetchy.
I'll tell you who we do have to doff our caps to.
Go on.
And that is the people who've stayed throughout this. We mentioned earlier we're in the comfort of our little box and we can have a cup of tea, and we had a slice of cake at tea time, but they've been sat there for what now? Approaching 3 hours with nothing to do than wait and wait and wait.
It's pretty impressive.
All credit to them. There were a couple of games of cricket taking place in the car park, and there has been certainly more activity in the last half an hour in terms of people, looking a little more like they're going to see some cricket. The stumps are going in. I mean, this is unbelievable. Bring it on. But hold on a minute. Am I just... Oh no, I'm looking at that's an old bit of TV pictures that we're seeing on our monitor, because I saw the rain falling, but I don't think it is at the moment. So that's encouraging. Yeah, the pitch is exposed. Some sawdust is getting put on some of those troublesome wicket ends. And we aren't, I don't think, a million miles away from seeing a bit of cricket. England are in their whites. I can see them gathered on the balcony. And Hen Cowan, the England media manager, they're leaning on the railing at the front of the Andy Caddick Pavilion. Lisa Kitely and a couple of the coaching staff, she's down on the boundary edge playing football at the moment, looking increasingly frustrated. I can see some of the Tim McDonald there with the England bowling coaches taking out some of those rubber stumps to have a little warm-up with. So patience is going to be rewarded, Phil.
Yeah, well, hopefully. I mean, just looking here, you forget that we have had quite a bit of play today already. It seems like such a long time ago. We've already had 32.2 overs. We've seen 116 runs and 3 wickets. 27 for 1 now, South Africa. As Henry mentioned, we might get a maybe an hour's play or maybe 45 minutes play tonight, plus the potential for 109 overs tomorrow on the final day. So still good chance of a result, good chance for South Africa to try and bat out for a draw, and good chance for England to strive for their first home victory since 2005.
I couldn't believe, because Annie, you didn't get a home test victory.
No, it's only a draws and a pretty horrible loss down at Canterbury.
Restart time 6:30. Come on, 10 minutes, everybody.
I think those England players might need to get down warming up pretty quick. They've got 10 minutes.
Yeah, we've spent the whole day sitting around. Now suddenly everyone is going to be rushing, aren't they, backwards and forwards to wherever they need to be. Yeah, 6:30, amazing.
Oh, here we go. Some applause around the ground. 13 overs remaining in the day. Come on. This is terribly good news. So we're going to see a restart. We're going to get a little bit of cricket. And that's really good news for all concerned, because I thought we were done. I've got to be honest. I thought we might be done with the first lot of rain.
Yeah, I thought so as well. And it's bizarre, it's been a relative lack of urgency for most of the day. Has suddenly turned into a huge amount of urgency at the back end of the day. Just when everyone thought that was about to be it. So again, this is going to be a horrible little period for South Africa with nothing to gain really, and potentially quite a lot to lose, and England can come out, and I think they'll be eyeing up 2 more wickets in this little session if indeed we get these overs before any more rain might come.
Well, this is the question. As a bowler, are you relishing this opportunity? You're thinking there's a couple of possible opportunities here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they'll have to switch on pretty quick, because like you said, I imagine they were sat up there thinking this is going to be it for the day. So they'll have to switch on pretty quick. They're starting in 8 overs, and they're just coming out now, so they're going to have to start fast. But it's definitely a period that England will be relishing a lot more than South Africa will be.
Yeah, it's one of those where if you're a batter, you're sort of going out there and it's hiding to nothing really. You're just trying to survive, because you know there might be more rain around. It's grizzly, it's mizzly, it's not very nice. There's the pressure of trying to survive rather than trying to really move the game forward in your side's favour. So England will see that as a big opportunity. And those bowlers over there warming up. I can see Kate Cross tossing a rugby ball back and forth. And some stretching going on. Got to be honest, I've not seen anyone from the South African side appear as yet.
I think they're
probably rushing back from the hotel, aren't they?
Well, I imagine they might be. We've got 8 minutes till play resumes. Now the ground staff are running to take off those final covers. This is magnificent news. What a relief after all of this delay. When did we go off, Phil? Have you got that time?
Yeah, we went off for the second time at 3:35 after half an hour's play, and we went off for the first time at 7 minutes to 1 o'clock. So we went straight into lunch there, came back, restarted at 3:05, half an hour's play, sat around for a while, or sat around for the best part of 3 hours, and now it's all systems go.
Yeah, sure is. This is suddenly a scene of absolute carnage, relatively. We've got players warming up, ground staff working. The LEDs have been fired back up, the sound system's back on, the crowd are starting to look a little more interested. And we're not far away from a resumption. So the only question is, are we going to see more rain?
It does feel, is that me just being pessimistic? It does feel as if there might be rain about.
Doesn't it? You know, we're thinking of the pub quiz we might do. There's talk that we might pit a BBC team up against our television colleagues, which is it's a grudge match. It really is. If so, I reckon one of the questions should be, what is the silliest sport in the world?
Answer, cricket. Without a shadow of a doubt.
The same answer might come from what is the most wonderful sport in the world, but at times it can be maddening. As Melissa looks behind the back of the stand and points to the clouds and makes a gesture suggesting there might be a little bit more rain to come. Just get a 1 over in. Go on.
Oh, imagine if you're a South African batter, you get 1 over and the rain comes down, nick off.
Yeah. Oh.
You would be furious.
You would just think, what am I doing? Why am I here? Stefan's gone out to have a look. Not a fan of the radar. Steph, how was it looking out there?
Mr. Not Radar.
What's... Not raining.
So therefore play. But let's not forget they need 5 minutes extra drying time, because you can't start on anything other than an exact time, rather than when you're all ready, let's get on with it.
Of course not. Don't be, I can't believe you would suggest such a ludicrous thing other than to start at a multiple of 5.
Yeah, of course. Normally actually a multiple of 10, unless it's a quarter. They like a quarter.
They do like a quarter, do they?
They will never do like 6:27.
I've spotted Anna Harris. She's there. She's hat on, ready to go. Still no sign of any South African batters. Oh, is there? Or maybe there's Sune Loose.
Yeah, she's decided.
She's arrived. She's back.
Yeah, Sune Lose. That song has been in my head for 24 hours, and the rest. So the score will be 27-1 when they resume, with Goodall and Wolfhard at the crease.
And of course, yeah, we did see Lara Goodall. She was off before or she wanted to get off, and she was called back, wasn't she, by umpire Sue, who said, "Get on with it."
Yeah,
it's not raining hard enough yet.
Lara Goodall made the decision herself that she'd had enough. She was heading off the field. I mean, at that point, to be fair, it was raining quite
Clearly one more ball was bowled, and they did go off. So she maybe had a point.
Yeah, she knew what was coming, in fairness. Lauren Bell and Izzy Wong are going through their warm-ups over to my right, both in long-sleeve jerseys, which tells us a little bit about how chilly it is out there. Sophie Eccleston as well. And the England bowlers will be much keener than the South African batters to get out there and have a go, because they know that this is a chance.
Question for you, Anya. 13 overs left. Do we see seam or do we see a bit of spin?
I think we'll see seam first up, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Sophie Eccleston get a couple of overs just as some variety. I still think she's got a big role to play in this South African second innings, whether that's today or not, but I think it will be heavy seam with maybe an over of spin, to the old token over of spin to finish the day, just for some variety, and that seems like a cool thing to do, I assume.
Always do that. I've never quite understood why.
I think a bit of it is variety, and it just gives the batter a different challenge.
Yeah.
And obviously when it's the number one, well, probably the number one bowler in the world, that's quite some challenge. So it's just something to think about. Get some people around the bat, and it just, everyone does it, so why not?
Yeah. Indeed, the umpires are back in the pavilion, or on the boundary edge. Jasmine Naim has been absolutely stalwart in the middle. All day she's been standing there with her umbrella, waiting for any news, for conversations with ground stars, and finally she's going to be able to go in and have a cup of tea and watch some cricket. Here we go, here come the umpires.
I also like this. If you look round the advertising hoardings, can you see the umpire's eyes?
I hate the eyes.
All the way around.
Yeah.
They've been in for a couple of seasons and they're terrifying.
They are. All you can see around the ground is the eyes of the umpires, and indeed when somebody takes the ball or a new batter comes to the crease, then you get just their eyes staring at you.
Just terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand it, but I thought it would be a one-hit wonder in the summer, and it's stuck.
It has. It'd be more fun if it was kneecaps, say.
Yeah, guess the kneecap.
Yeah, like a knobbly knee competition on a much. Did you ever go to a fete with a knobbly knee competition?
I don't think I did. No.
Oh, great. So you like hold a sheet up, and you can just see people's knees below, and then whoever's got the knobbliest knees
wins.
What,
and they win a teddy or?
The prize of being the knobbliest knees.
That's it,
Yeah.
just the honour.
Oh, have I dreamt knobbly knee competitions? You've seen a knobbly knee competition, Phil?
Oh no, I've seen them. I don't know what the prizes are. You've never goldfish in a bag or something.
Oh, it would be. Yeah, you've never won one because not with knees like that. Never. George Railways has replaced Anya Shrubsole. We're going to see some cricket here at Taunton. Georgie, you can't believe it, can you?
I can't believe it. I'm quite excited though.
I've got a little bit of a buzz. Bring it on.
Georgia was off for a net, wasn't she? Is that postponed?
I've had to postpone that till the end of play, midnight tonight.
So the tall figure of Lauren Bell has the ball in hand. She's shining one half of it, and the umpire Sue Redfern says right arm over. 5 balls to come, and we're ready to go. Let's play. Here comes Lauren Bell. Right then, 2 slips and a gully. As Lauren Bell charges in with the floodlights shining, Wolfhard on strike, and one that angles in towards her, movement initially, and Continuing in as well, England up and about. This is perfect. As a fielder, you're loving this, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there's been a lot of energy in that changing room. A long old wait for them to come out. They probably had switched off and thought there was no more chance of play, but they've got a real hour to make a dent into this South African batting lineup.
They do. Here comes Lauren Bell again then. Field remains the same as Bell runs in. Again angles towards Laura Wolfhard, who is immaculate in defence, lunging forward, pushing that ball into the offside. As we see, to be fair, all things considered, a decent smattering of fans. If it was me, I would have given up a while back, I think.
Yeah, I think it's pretty relentless, wasn't it, this afternoon, that rain, and these are the die-hard England fans in. Let's hope they can make some noise for the England girls.
Lauren Bell, tall figure, running away from us with arms pumping. To Laura Wolfhard. Again, she's defending off the top of off stump into the offside. And we'll know that really her job this evening is not about scoring runs. It's just making sure that she heads off the field with her wicket intact.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really tricky period of time now for the South African batters. It's gloomy out there. The floodlights are on. We saw yesterday when the lights came on, the ball moved more under those lights, so it's going to be a really difficult little passage of play, and they're going to have to be properly switched on.
Lauren Bell running in again, history repeating itself with a big stride forward from Laura Wolfhard. We've got a ball left of the over. Lauren Bell's 6th. She's been economical so far, conceded just the 8 runs.
Yeah, I think it's a dangerous mindset to get into, just surviving though, isn't it? I think Wolfhard, I'd still like to see both of these South African batters be positive and put some pressure back on the England bowlers. Just that intent to survive is always dangerous.
Here comes Bell again. Running in to bowl to Laura Wolfhard. Fuller this time skews off an outside edge of the bat, will run away, pass backward point out towards the boundary, and Emma Lamb will haul it in, 5 or 6 yards in from the rope. So a couple of runs taken to finish the over. And the score is 29 for 1. I wonder who's going to take that ball at the other end. Kate Cross, Izzy Wong, who are we thinking? Looks like it's going to be Kate Cross.
Yeah, she's taking that big woolly jumper off that she's got on out there. Pretty much all the England fielders are donning those, aren't they? Staying warm in this late evening. It does seem to be moving a little bit more. But that over from Lauren Bell was very encouraging. The England players are up and about. There's loads of energy. You can hear on the stump mic them chirping away behind the bat.
Kate Cross's eyes repeat themselves rather alarmingly 30 times around the ground. It's all quiet on 1984. Cross at the end of her mark. Bowled 6 overs so far in this second innings. Has taken the only wicket to have fallen. Catching the gully to remove Andrew Steen. Good sharp chance taken by Nat Siver. Grey skies overhead here in Taunton, but we've got play. In comes Kate Cross, running in towards us past umpire Anna Harris. Laura Goodall on strike, the left-hander, gets in a bit of a tangle as she plays the ball towards Tammy Beaumont at short leg. Is Tammy Beaumont sort to be giving a bit of chat out there?
I think she will be, yeah. She loves a little bit of a chirp, does Tammy. It gets her going, especially when she's batting, actually. She's one of those that you're told not to speak to when she's out there in the middle, because it gets her in the zone. But yeah, she'll certainly be having a few words with Laura Goodall out there.
Goodall waiting, bat raised, tucked behind her. As Cross is in, played again towards Beaumont, this time much more cleanly, but it's stopped by the short leg fielder. She's underneath the... Well, she's wearing a pair of not quite sunglasses. What have you seen? What have you spotted, Georgia Elwes?
Those glasses that she's got on. Almost got a clear lens, haven't they?
There was something of the sort of 1970s Elton John about them. In comes Kate Cross. To bowl to Goodall, who's defending into the offside solidly. Might pick up a single if she's quick. Throw comes in from the fielder running round Emma Lamb. But she couldn't quite find enough time to get in position to really threaten the stumps at the non-striker's end. And Wolfhard will be on strike, 30 for 1.
I'm going to have to ask her about those. because it's dark out there. I mean, the floodlights are on, but it's not sunglasses weather, is it?
No.
There must be some sort of light enhancing glasses, you'd think.
Yeah, you'd surely.
Is she wearing them without the lid on? I can't see that far, but
I think she is, yeah. Is she a glasses wearer normally?
I don't know.
Here comes Kate Cross, 3 slips waiting. Wolfart forward in defence will pick up 1 into a big gap on the leg side. Throw comes in from Izzy Wong, but not before 1 more run is taken. Wolfart on to 15.
No, I'm not sure she is. If she is, then she always wears contact lenses. I can't picture her in any sort of glasses. She'll tell us. She'll tell us all about it if we ask her, though, won't she? She'll have some scientific reason for having those on.
4 slips now in place. As here comes Kate Cross. Goodall is defending. She's played pretty confidently and comfortably so far, Lara Goodall, just blunting England's attack. Got 1 ball left of the over.
Well, she's got a good technique, hasn't she? She's left-hander. Left-handers always look better for some reason, don't they? Always. But she's got strong offside games. Hit the ball hard. She's played nicely for her 13 so far.
Turning at the far end is Kate Cross, running in towards us. This is pushed up the ground nicely. That's a good looking shot. It's going to rush away across the outfield. Should bring 4 runs. The ball does slow up a bit, actually. It slows up horribly. That tells us quite a lot about this outfield. Goodall will get back for a 3rd, but it won't be any more than that. Hey, guess what?
What?
It's raining.
Oh no.
Oh, only a little bit, but it is raining.
Look at those England players sprinting through. They know they're desperate to stay out there.
Laura Wolfart and Lara Goodall are sharing a joke.
Yeah, they're going to stay in the middle for a while, and they're going to be in the umpire's ear. Sue, it's raining.
They're going to say, Sue, no, I'm a cricket kit. I need a swimsuit. Lauren Bell has a smile on her face, looks up towards us, and down below is preparing to bowl the next over. Cry, come on, Belly, from the slip cordon. 3 slips in a gully. And they crouch as Lauren Bell begins an approach of 15 or so paces, high knees, arms pumping to the left-handed Goodall, and is rather squared up by that, pushes it into the offside. She's been on the money, Lauren Bell. Really encouraging debut, this.
Yeah, she's bowled really nicely. First innings, took the new ball for England. Stuff you can only dream of on your test debut, isn't it? But she's looked every bit the part. She's been threatening. She's beaten both edges. And she's causing problems here. The ball is moving quite a bit under these lights.
Goodall waits as Bell comes rushing in. That one just a little easier to deal with on the hips and turned into the leg side for 1. 35 for 1 is the score.
She's a lovely bowler, lovely tall. Good action, lots of in-swing from Lauren Bell. I know her well from my time at the Southern Vipers. She took the 100 by storm last year with the Southern Brave as well. She's every bit deserved her chance at this level. She looks like she's made for it.
2 slips in a gully weight with Wolfart on strike. Left alone outside the off stump. Easy just to watch on through to the gloves of Amy Jones. And Sue Redfern is having a little look around. The rain is falling quite steadily. And not for that reason, but because I've got another duty elsewhere. I'm going to say goodbye to you after this next ball, Georgia, and we're going to hand over to Stefan Schemmelt as Lauren Bell again has the ball in hand and runs away from us. Wolfart on strike. As Bell is in, it's a good-looking ball, but it's pushed confidently into extra cover, and there is no run. Right, some more from you, Georgia, then Stefan.
Yeah, she's looked good in defence so far here, Wolfart. Be hating being out there, I'm sure, but up to the challenge. It's a difficult little period, isn't it?
Do you know where he's gone?
Oh, nowhere.
He's gone to be on the telly.
Well, fair enough.
Lauren Bell then, in the rain, straining towards Laura Wolfart, tucks the ball into the onside and there's no run. Tammy Beaumont's cap falls out the back of her trousers at short leg. Henry's asked me to stop writing my match report to come and commentate so he can go onto the telly. Rain's falling steadily. We're supposed to have how many more overs, Phil? 11. 10 after this ball. How many of those will we get? 2 slips, Gully go down. Wolfart again tucks Bell into the onside. End of the over. South Africa 35 for 1. They trail by 98. Sue Redfern is marching towards square leg, so it looks like we're going to get, or at least start another over. I'll tell you what we could do. Well, let's ask Anya Shrubsole to stick her head out of the window and sort of give us, on the Shrubsoleometer, how much heavier the rain would have to be for the players to come off. It's interesting to see how this plays out. It's good though, it's good for the game that the umpires want to keep them out there. It's certainly good for those resilient spectators that have remained to the bitter end, because I don't think anyone thought we were going to play again today. Kate Cross from the far end to the left-handed. Goodall beating her with a beauty. Pitched, nipped away from the left-hander. Play that if you can. Anya Shrubsole says not a lot heavier for the players to have to come off on the Shrubsoleometer. Anya's reporting that the LEDs have been removed by the ground staff in order for the covers to be wheeled on. Cloud and rain at Taunton as Goodall drives at Cross. Play and miss again, twice in the over. Cross has beaten Goodall's outside edge. England won't care that they're getting wet. If they can get one more South Africa wicket tonight, they'll feel it's worth it. They've hung around for a long time. South Africa would have wanted to keep that dressing room door locked. But the umpires were knocking on it. No one here.
South Africans will be doing a rain dance in there, won't they?
Cross got a necklace bouncing around as she bowls to Goodall. This one's turned towards mid-on off the pad. Score remains 35 for 1. Goodall 17, Wolfart 15, trail by 98. Did you ever do that when you were a kid? If someone knocked on the door, turn all the lights off, hide underneath the table, pretend you're not in.
Absolutely, or pretend you're asleep. That was a good one. And that plenty of times.
Just seen a replay from earlier on. That's not just now, is it? That must be earlier on.
I think that's now.
Cross bowls to Goodall, lovely off drive, through mid off for 4. 39 for 1 South Africa go to. Goodall onto 21. That's not the second time, is it, that Laura Goodall's been beaten or has edged through to the wicketkeeper and England have not appealed?
I think it could be, you know. I don't know what's going on here. It's twice that there's been no appeal at all from the England players, and it seems that, according to Ultradge, that Goodall's got a little snick on it. So
let's see if there's another replay that clears that up. Deficit's down to 94. Kate Cross is furiously shining the ball on the back of her trousers. Then she sets off towards us. Both of them stand behind her. Goodall defends on the front foot. There's one delivery of the over remaining. 9 to come after this. Just now, that's a replay of the drive for 4. That's doing us no good, is it? Goodall is stretching at the waist, standing near to short leg fielder Tammy Beaumont. She's got hair in a bunch, poking out the back of her green helmet. 3 slips, Gully, short leg. Cross bounds in and bowls to Goodall, who again forces through mid-off. That's another lovely stroke. Doesn't get onto the front foot very often, Laura Goodall, but when she does come forward, she's so strong through that mid-off region. Dunkley, the fielder's quite wide. That's a good chase, actually. Helped out by Izzy Wong, who does the throw. Saves England a run. South Africa onto 42 for 1. They trail by 91. Goodall onto 24. Wolfart 15. We wait confirmation if Laura Goodall has twice edged behind without England appealing. That would be remarkable if that was the case, wouldn't it?
I mean,
Georgia?
it would, yeah. You'd find that really hard to believe, but something tell me about that replay. It seemed like it was the ball that cross bowled, so something strange going on out there. If it is twice that's happened, it'd be very, very unusual.
So it's dark and gloomy in Taunton. You're a South Africa batter trying to survive to tomorrow. And to add to your problems, England have introduced their fastest bowler. Here comes Izzy Wong from our end. Marcus Trescothick Pavilion end of the ground. Wong, number 25 on her back. Figures of 1 for 54 in the first inning. She's bowled just 1 over so far in this second inning. She's running in on her toes to Goodall. First ball's wide of the off stump. Goodall lets it go through to the wicketkeeper Amy Jones. Wong starting around 66 miles an hour. That will get quicker. Wong can let the handbrake off, safe in the knowledge she's not got a lot of work to do in this final mini session. She's got 3 slips and a gully, a point, then nothing to Sophia Dunkley at mid-off. There's a mid-on, a short leg and a long leg. Lauren Bell fielding in front of an empty river stand down there in the distance. Goodall tucks off the hit to Wong that gets one that Wong gets to jag back to the left-hander. Single taken to short fine leg. South Africa on to 43 for 1. They trail by 90. You can see that Wong's just getting the newish ball. It's only 16.2 overs old and it's glinting underneath the floodlights as it goes down from Wong's right arm over action. Let's have a look at this field for the right-handed Wolfart. Remember, it was Wolfart that Wong knocked over in the first innings for a maiden test wicket. A beautiful delivery that just nipped back off the seam and took the top of off and middle. Shirt untucked Wong, bowling to Wolfart, who comes forward in defence. That's the delivery that got her in the first innings. South Africa 43 for 1, 90 behind.
Yeah, I like that from Wong. I like her going straight at Wolfart. We know how strong she is through that offside, but I think all about in tonight's session is making the South African batters play. For England bowlers, keeping the stumps in play, keeping all modes of dismissal in the game. And like you said, that's exactly how she was dismissed in the first innings.
Wong to Wolfart, down the leg side. It hits Wolfart on the pads. England have got head in hands, but there's never really any danger to the batter there. Pace has gone up. Wong above 70 miles an hour now. I like that you mentioned, George, you called it the night session. That's what it feels like, doesn't it? It's like we're halfway through a day-nighter.
It's almost an eerie feeling around the ground, isn't it?
Wong casts a shadow in 4 directions as she bowls to Wolfart. Straight ball, that's just nipped away a tiny bit. Wolfart's defence, though, is good enough to push the ball towards point. There's no run, 1 delivery of the over remaining, 43 for 1, trailed by 90. South Africa have actually taken a reasonable chunk out of that England lead in the 16.5 overs that they faced. It's the second part of that score that's the important. They've lost 1 wicket. What can England get in the remainder of this day? 8 overs to come after this ball. They'd love a wicket or 2. 3 slips go down. Wolfart, lovely big stride. Classical defence, pushing the ball towards point. End of the over, left hand, says Sue Redfern, the umpire. South Africa 43 for 1. Wolfart, the opener, has 15, and Goodall 25.
Yeah, the defence of Wolfart there, up to the challenge that Wong gave her. Are you coming on, Hartley? Okay, all right. I'll let you carry on that train of thought and I'll pass over to Alex.
Rest well, Georgia. Go and get ready for the pub quiz.
Yeah, thank you.
It'll still be Kate Cross from the far end. She's bowled unchanged so far through this inning, is that right, Phil? Into a 9th over. Figures of 1 for 26. The new leader of the attack for England in the absence of Brunton Shrubsole. Bowling to Goodall, who, as she does, drives up towards mid-off. See, trademark Laura Goodall stroke. No run this time because Lauren Bell is the fielder.
I haven't commentated on a ball that Kate Cross has bowled this test match.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's neither, is it really? It's just a fact.
We're still looking for that commentary clip that you can use for the no balls opener, aren't we? Cross bowls to Goodall, defends from the crease with... She gets squared up sometimes in defence, does Laura Goodall, with both feet pointing back towards the bowler. We tried it in the World Cup, didn't we, in the hope that you might call a cross wicket.
But I panicked.
You did, didn't you?
Yeah, it wasn't good, because she actually beat the outside edge. I was like, oh! I don't know how you keep you calm.
I don't.
I had a good one today. Nat Silver just punched down the ground for 1.
Goodall taps a bat, raises it high behind her headers. Cross bowls. It's another push from Goodall up towards mid-off. Tall figure of Lauren Bell does the fielding, then hurls the ball towards wicket-keeper Amy Jones. South Africa 43 for 1.
It's a tough passage of play for South Africa, really, isn't it? Coming out half an hour, well, 12 overs till the end of the day, knowing that you want to try and score some runs, but you cannot get out going into tomorrow.
Cross pounds in past umpire Anna Harris. Outside edge from Goodall, well stopped by Nat Siver in the gully, all along the ground. There was a prospect of runs behind point, but Siver, probably pound for pound the best fielder in this England Test side, in all positions.
Very good from Nat Siver at gully. Full length diving stop, definitely saves 4 runs. Emma Lamb was trying to catch up with the ball.
Feels like the rain's relented. Might get all these overs in. Cross to Goodall, tucked off the hip, down towards long leg. Izzy Wong beneath us with her shades on her cap, throws the ball into Amy Jones. 1 added to the score. South Africa 44 for 1, trailed by 89. Set up for a fantastic day tomorrow. England pushing for victory. Their first Test win since 2014. Not won a home Test match since 2005.
Wow. Because they're all draws.
You'd think that there's too much for South Africa to do to win the game. Cross comes in, right arm over to Wolfart. Gets that big stride in defence, pushes the ball back to the bowler. Completes the over. South Africa 44 for 1, trailed by 89. Wolfart 15, Goodall 26. Now Alex Hartley's just made the universal symbol for some spin.
I'd love to see a bit of spin, is why. I don't know if we will, but I'd like to see Sophie Eccleston come on, surround the bat, really put the South Africans under a bit of pressure.
7 overs left in the day. It's been a long day. We haven't seen a great deal of cricket. You're not going to get your wish because Nat Siver's warming up. She's going to bowl a medium pace from Kate Cross's end. Wong with the start, a new over, running away from us towards Goodall. Defends, ball goes on the bounce to Tammy Beaumont at short leg. She's very deep at short leg, is Tammy Beaumont.
You fear with the pace of Wong just going over 70 mile an hour. Just hit Tammy Beaumont. If Goodall plays a little flick off the hip,
it could
hit her.
Okay. I thought you meant Izzy Wong might hit her. That'd be a very wide ball. Bowls to Goodall, down the leg side towards Tammy Beaumont actually. But have to be even wider than Steve Harmison at the Gabba in 2006, get anywhere near how far Tammy Beaumont is away from the left-handed batter Goodall. What are you pointing at, Phil?
Umpire Sue just having a word with Izzy Wong about her follow through.
Yes. South Africa 44 for 1. They trail by 89. Wong underneath the floodlights in the gloom, bowls to Goodall. He turns to the deep short leg Tammy Beaumont, gathers the ball on her knees and feigns to throw at the non-striker's end. There are still some really hardy spectators who've waited. It's 3 hours, that last delay.
Is that what it was? It felt long.
There's a few spectators sitting in the Somerset stand away to our left in front of the flats. There's a couple under cover in the Botham stand at the far end, then a few more to the right next to the Andy Caddick pavilion. Wong runs in on her tiptoes, balls to Goodall, short ball. Goodall just leaps inside the line and watches it go. Score remains 44 for 1. I have to say, actually, in this mini session where South Africa had so much to lose, Goodall and Wolfart have batted very well.
They have. I've been impressed with Goodall, actually. She played nicely down the ground, especially off Kate Cross. When Cross just over-pitched the ball, just knocked her back down the ground.
She did a hokey-cokey with Tasmin Britch during the World Cup for the number 3 spot. She looks like she's got a much more classical technique than Britch. That's down the leg side from Wong. Now there's a peel for RBW and given, caught behind. Laura Goodall's walking off. Melissa Story outside, jumping up and down. And England have managed to take one in this mini session. It was a full delivery from Wong, and Goodall has just got a little tickle. And Amy Jones, the wicketkeeper, has skipped to her right to do the rest. Goodall goes for 26. South Africa are 44 for 2, and England will think that wait, that 3-hour wait to get some play, has all been worth it.
It has indeed. Izzy Wong there getting a little bit lucky. That ball going down the leg side, and Goodall looking to flick it into the onside. Gets a little tickle through to Amy Jones. And Izzy Wong gets the breakthrough. This is a massive moment here for England. Can they capitalise on taking the wicket of Goodall, who looked good at the crease?
Well, there are still 6 overs remaining after this one. And what a time for the South Africa captain Sune Lees to be walking to the crease. Night watcher? Would that have been an option?
I'd have liked a night watcher, I think. Izzy Wong with a huge grin on her face.
Wong's second wicket in Test cricket, and that's what pace does.
Makes you have to play at the ball, or tempted into playing at the ball.
We saw earlier on in the over a shorter ball that was down the leg side that Goodall just leapt inside the line of. This time when it was full, Goodall's just flicked the bat at it, and she departs with a rueful look on her face. She knows that's a mistake, shaking her head. And now England have opened an end, and Sune Lees, short figure, long ponytail poking out the back of her helmet. Wong bowls to her, Lees goes back and nudges into the onside. End of the over, a successful one for Izzy Wong. Figures of 1 for 6. South Africa 44 for 2, trailing by 89. And England will want to be bowling as many deliveries as possible at Sune Lees in these next 6 overs. That's what we've got left in the day. England will be thinking 1 more, 2 more.
Definitely be wanting 2 more. I'm going to see Nat Siver, the vice captain, come on at the far end. She'll just look to bowl top of off stump. Really put South Africa under pressure. Bowl that wobble seam delivery to mix things up.
I know the conditions are classical swing seam bowling. But if you're Laura Wolfart right now, who would you rather be facing, Nat Siver or Sophie Eccleston?
Probably Nat Siver.
3 slips and a gully for Siver, who bowls to Wolfart. Medium pace, defended into the point region. Fielder scurries in, there's no run. Siver is wearing a sleeveless sweater. She's got really powerful shoulders. Swimmer's shoulders, I'd call them, for Nat Siver.
She did used to swim.
Has she done everything though?
Yeah, she has. I don't reckon there's a sport she hasn't played. Maybe croquet.
And we've all swam. Siver bowls to Wolfart, driven back to Siver on the bounce. Crowd catch, if you will. Wolfart removes her helmet. It just reveals brown hair tied up in a bun, replaces it. She's got number 14 on her back. Very carefully places her feet on the crease, taps the bat, waits for Siver, who pumps her arms towards us, and Wolfart goes back to defend. Score remains 44 for 2. 89 behind. England chirpy.
How did you spend your 3 hours waiting for the rain to stop?
I'll tell you what I did. I wrote a match report for the BBC Sport website, which is now, it will need some changing. Another wicket will need a lot of changing. Siver bowls to Wolfart, inside edge, down towards Izzy Wong at long leg. They take a single, so that exposes Sune Lees to the bowling. South Africa 45 for 2.
So you tried to get ahead of the game by doing your...
Well, I genuinely thought we were done for the day.
I really did. I thought we were just waiting around for the umpires to say it's too wet out there.
So I had to be ready for that.
Yes.
And then...
It's going to need a little tinkering.
It will, yeah, it will. I haven't quite decided I'm going to approach it yet.
I would offer to help, but...
Well, I would say anyone who's read any of my work would say that I don't really know how to approach any of it.
Now.
Siver comes into Lees. It's a very tentative prod onto the front foot from the South Africa captain, but she safely survives that delivery with a forward defensive stroke. I don't think it's raining anymore. It's just dark.
Gloomy, isn't it? Very gloomy out there. It's been a miserable old day.
Pub quiz starts at 8.
Well, I think we've got nibbles here afterwards as well.
7 o'clock. Got to get loose. Silver bowls to Lees, who again comes forward in defence. I'm going to go and brush up on my pub quiz knowledge like they did in Phoenix Nights. I'm going to write the answers on my arm without necessarily knowing what the questions are, and Melissa Story's going to take over from me after thoughts from Alex Hartley.
Laura Wolfart looks good at the crease. She looks very solid in her defence. Was that a wicket maiden from Izzy Wong as well, Phil? Yes, it was. That ball just being flicked off Goodall's pads. The finest, I want to say edges, but just a little edge. Through to Amy Jones, who takes a tumbling catch behind the stumps. And we're going to see Izzy Wong continue from our end. Hello, Melissa.
Hello. You know what? That wicket made it all worth it.
It did, didn't it?
I was jumping about on the balcony. I think probably making the most noise this ground has heard for a few hours.
But you are impartial.
I am. I want both teams to succeed.
But when off air, England
it just happened to be that when I was doing some jumping jacks on the boundary to get ready for this commentary stint, Izzy Wong happened to take a wicket.
Would you? Adam and Eve.
What a coincidence. And it's a good decision to bowl Izzy Wong, you feel, after, not only because of that wicket, but because she's a firecracker. She comes in, storms in, and is bowling basically as fast as she can for these final 5 overs of today's play. Wolfart is on strike. 3 slips and a gully as Wong charges in past the umpire. That's short and on the hip, and there's the ball chipped in the air. Lost in the air. Actually pinged up into the offside. Tammy Beaumont under the helmets at short leg.
It's just back of a length there from Izzy Wong, and it pops up off the bat handle. Tammy Beaumont tries to go for it, but ends up on the offside. There's a good delivery that from Izzy Wong as Wolfart looks to play it into the onside.
She's got fire behind her now, Izzy Wong, as she runs in short again, and she has a slash at this one. Wolfart. This is a tense final few overs, and you can feel there's a definite tactic here from Izzy Wong.
I think so, yeah. She's just gone 2 balls back of her length. That one was short and wide, and Wolfart could have left it alone, but she's gone for the cut shot, and it's gone over the top of the bat. Heather Knight at slip was ready to take the catch.
And this ball only 20 overs old, so it's nice and hard still for Izzy Wong to bowl short with as it's down the leg side past the pad of Wolfart, and Amy Jones misses the ball, but it's not costly as Sonia Lees tells Wolfart to stay there. I'd rather not be on strike. Thanks though, mate. I'll stay up here. An interesting decision to send in herself. Would you have opted for a night watcher?
Yeah, I think I would have done it. Because there's not long left tonight, I definitely would have said, look, let me just put my feet up for the rest of the day and concentrate on tomorrow.
Like the selfless captain you are. As Wong bowls full driven into the covers. Straight to Sophia Dunkley. Another dot ball, 45 for 2, South Africa, trailing by 88 runs. Wolfart's on 16 off 60.
They're loud out there, aren't they? They're up and about.
They are, and those few hardy fans who have stayed around for these final few overs, I think most of them are stood up. They're on the edge of their seats. And they're joining in with England's noise on the field. We've had a few calls of "Come on, England," as Wong bowls full, driven again by Wolfart to extra cover this time for no run. She's looking to pierce that offside, and it's interesting that despite there being so few overs left in the day, she's still happy to play those shots when the ball's in her arc.
She's extremely strong through the offside, so that's her strength. If it's in her area, she's going to look to drive the ball. I don't think she'll necessarily look to score runs, but if she gets one past, she'll take it.
As Wong runs into clapping from the crowd behind her, outside the off stump, and caught it, gully! The wicket for England! It's Laura Wolfart And just listen to those cheers.
Well, what a catch that was in the gully by Nat Siver, diving to her right-hand side. I'm pretty sure she's caught that one-handed as well. It was outside the off stump. Wolfarts poked and prodded at it. As she could have left that ball alone, a thick outside edge. Nat Siver, that's a great catch in the gully.
She throws the ball in the air after catching that. The smile on Izzy Wong's face as she's embraced by every member of the England team on the field, and you can't help but feel that that was a risky shot, and it was a risky shot from Laura Wolfart. She chased a wide one and she suffers a wicket in the final few overs of this game. South Africa 45 for 3, trailing by 88, and it is the night watcher in. Tumi Sekakune has been sent to the crease. Anya Shrubsole, former World Cup winner, Ashes winner, England extraordinaire. What do you think of that wicket?
That's a huge wicket for England. We always said this could be a really tricky period for South Africa, and it's proving to be so far. Izzy Wong has run in, bowled fast, bowled aggressively, and picked up 2 wickets. And what a stunning catch from Nat Siver. I think I said it before, and it's happened again. She can do no wrong.
Back-to-back wicket maidens for Izzy Wong. She's got Laura Wolfart in both innings.
Oh, we've got a bunny. As cross in, left alone by Lees outside the off stump. And it's going to be down to these two now to survive. 4 overs left. I'm correct in thinking. Phil's pointed to the scoreboard, but it's bold of him to assume I can see the scoreboard.
It is 4 overs, you're correct.
You were correct.
When the floodlights come on, it gets a bit bright out there. As cross, arms pumping, runs up and bowls full again outside the off stump and left alone by Lees. Well, it's been worth staying for those fans who have persevered. They've been sheltering in the cold and the rain, and they've been rewarded with 2 Izzy Wong wickets. She's now gone down to the fine leg boundary as a reward. Bit of respite as cross in, full and past the edge of Lee's bat, through to Amy Jones behind the stumps. There's not a single England fielder who didn't raise their hands onto their head. I've just realised I've been saying cross and it's Siver. You know what?
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day, and I actually did this exact thing in my first ever game I commentated for England. So maybe it's a tradition now. I think I need to go to Specsavers. As Siver bowls, and that's edged along the ground to gully. No run, 45 for 3.
What happens now if Sune Elise gets out? Do we have 2 night watchmen out there, or is Lizelle Lee coming out?
Now that's an interesting question.
I'd like a wicket just so I can see. It looks like over there Lizelle Lee is padded up and she'll be desperate not to be out there, but do you go double night watchman?
Have we seen a double night watchman before? Surely. As Siver in again past the outside edge, through to the keeper. Lise here is walking, almost tiptoeing through a field of cowpats, is how I would phrase it. She's absolutely having to watch every move. And it's just fantastic cricket out there in the middle.
I'd be considering getting another slip in there probably. I'm not sure we need Sophia Dunkley at extra cover.
Siver in full, driven through that gap in the covers. It's not been timed too well by Lees, and they will get back for the 2 runs. And that completes the over. South Africa move on to 47 for 3, trailing by 86. And I mean, it happened earlier in the men's domestic season. And I was talking about earlier how Gloucestershire sent in 3 night watchmen in a row. They all got out, and eventually the original batter had to come in anyway, and it was quite a disastrous situation. So I guess there's always that fear sitting at the back of South Africa's mind, but from our completely impartial perspective, it would be quite funny. As Wong waits at the top of her mark, she'll be bowling to the night watcher, Tumi Sekakune.
Okay, right arm over.
Just watch Sekakune mark a guard, and she asks for a guard as if she's a right-handed batter. Then shapes up left-handed.
It's the ultimate prank. As Izzy Wong runs in, the crowd behind her, it's short, and Sekakune ducks underneath that one. signalled wide by Sue Redfern, and I think the 50-odd people who have stayed in, probably about 25 of them booed that decision. But I
mean, it's a fair way over her head, but I think that's a pretty good tactic from Izzy Wong. A couple of short balls, get her on the back foot, and then push one fuller. That was a quick bouncer that carried through a long way to Amy Jones, and we see a leg slip coming in. England are all out attack at the minute.
She's looking fired up, Wong, and we're seeing a leg slip being put into play here. So 3 slips, gully, leg slip, short leg, as Wong charges into Sekakuna, who's defending into the offside, and no run taken. A wild Henry Moran runs past our commentary position.
It's up to Sekakuna here to face as many of these balls as possible. Yes, she's there to protect the next batter in, but she's also there to protect Sunalisa if she can. So South Africa will be looking for Sekakuna to face as many balls as she can in these final 3 overs.
Wong rubs that red Duke's ball on those dazzling whites as she runs in. It's short but down the leg side, and a great take from Amy Jones behind the stumps. Surely going to be a bit stiff after that extended rain delay. Suddenly she's got the gloves on behind the stumps and flying through the air. South Africa 48 for 3, still trailing by 85, and suddenly this short session feels as if it could have changed the game. We may have yet a result in our hands in this final day of play tomorrow. Izzy Wong, 3rd ball of this over, full, and that's scraped past the stumps. The whiskers of the stumps have been tickled.
They say there's 2 types of leave.
I mean, looking at that replay, I'm not sure Sekakuna had much idea where that ball was going.
Well, she clearly knows exactly where her off stump is.
Is this the Bowler's Alliance?
Who are we to doubt her?
I was going to ask, have you been a night watchman?
I've never had to actually go out there, but I have been the night watchman.
As Wong bowls full and on the pads of Sekakuna, who drops this easily into the onside in front of Tammy Beaumont. No run taken, so you never had to suffer and endure the pressure.
No, I've had to sit there in my pads and that's it. And I was pretty disappointed actually. It'd probably been my one and only chance to bat at number 3 for England, and unfortunately our opener saw it through.
As Wong walks backwards to the top of her mark, eyes on the game as always, and she's running in short down the leg side, and Tumi Sekakuna there can just raise her hands and leave that one well alone. She'll be happy to face a few more deliveries like that one, but it's good intent from Izzy Wong. She's running in fast, banging it in, and I think maybe just this left hand right hand combination just throwing her line off there with those last 2 deliveries.
This has been a brilliant little spell from Izzy Wong. She's really run in and done what England wanted her to do.
Izzy Wong with the crowd behind her, bowls full, and Tumi Sekakuna leaves that one alone, and that completes the over. 48 for 3, trailing by 85. Lee's on 2. Sekakuna still yet to get off the mark, and with your fantastic eyes, you're going to tell me, Anya Shrubsole, how many overs are left in the day?
There are 2 overs remaining, so we've got Nat Siver to bowl here, and it's whether they go Izzy Wong again or give Sophie Eccleston 1 over to finish the day. You think with the way that Izzy's bowling, they'll stick with her, but England should be desperate. If they can get 1 more wicket here, this really will have been a truncated but brilliant day for them.
Nat Siver with the ball in hand, runs in, bowls, and there's a thick edge to point, and no run taken. Captain Lee's on strike, and Nat Siver bowling in a woolly sweater vest. It's not too often you see that, although Anya Shrubsole, you were quite prominent bowling in the jumper.
Yeah, I often like to have a jumper on. Not 100% sure why, but I did. But it's 7:15. It's probably a bit chilly out there,
especially as the clouds in front of us are quite grey. Siver in and left by Lees. Through to the keeper, Amy Jones. No run taken. But the rain has stayed away for this final session, so all that work from the fantastic ground staff at Somerset County Cricket Club, it's all been worth it, at least from an England perspective. I'm sure South Africa would have been happy to have the rain continue to fall for the rest of the evening. But they've got a few balls to survive. As on the back foot is Lees, pushing into the offside. 48 for 3, the score.
England have been really impressive in this last little 45 minutes it's been so far. They've come at South Africa hard as you knew they would, and a catch from Nat Siver was brilliant, a catch from Amy Jones was brilliant, and they've taken their chances and really put themselves ahead of this game.
Nat Siver charging in, and that's edged and falls short of second slip. Sophie Eccleston diving forwards, couldn't get her hands to it, and Lee's just dropping her hands on the ball there, taking all the pace off that edge behind. It was a fantastic delivery from Siver, just a bit of away movement, but falling well short of Eccleston, who subsequently rolls on the ball, which can't be comfortable. She saved the boundary though, as often those ones take you by surprise and can go straight through the legs. So England maintain this pressure with that dot ball.
Another catch has come in.
3 slips, 2 gullies for England, as that's left by Lees outside the off stump, and that Siver just pushing through that 4th and 5th stump line, trying to tempt Lees into another false shot.
She'll be desperate to try and make a play with this last ball, and England have brought in those catchers, desperate to take a 4th wicket. It almost doesn't matter if she gets hit for a boundary here.
And Siver bowls full and just past the outstretched hand of that second gully. The ball flies down to 3rd, and South Africa comes back for 2 runs, but every heart in the ground stood still for that second. It was fuller from Siver, firm drive from Lees, and the diving Tammy Beaumont, it just evades her right hand. Fantastic from England. They've come out all guns blazing, and the score 50 for 3 with 1 over remaining.
You dream of that happening as a captain, changing the field and it going straight to the person you've just put in place, and that almost worked perfectly for England. So 6 balls left or fewer. I imagine if England take a wicket here, that will be the close of play. So 1 more wicket, and this really has been England's day. I think it probably has been already.
Izzy Wong taking the 2 wickets so far in this session, goes in, bowls full and clipped off the legs by Sekakuna, down to fine leg where Lauren Bell fields, and the single was taken, bringing Lees back on strike for these final 5 deliveries of the day. England persisting with that attacking field. The 3 slips.
Controversial, but I'd have been tempted not to take that single. And the night watchman take all of the last of this over, and if she gets out, then it's not the end of the world. If Suna Lees gets out here in any of these 5 balls, you'll be absolutely gutted, as you were South Africa. So, no, it sounds like an odd thing to be turning down runs, but you've got a night watchman out there to protect the batters.
Izzy Wong past the umpire, bowls full and outside the off stump, left alone by Lees. 4 balls to survive for the South African captain. I think that's a very valid point. As you say, 1 wicket would end the day's play. And out of these 2 at the crease, you'd rather it was the wicket of Sekakuna, especially as Wong's bowling's been a bit more misdirected to her. A few down the leg side, less threatening. But now she's got the right-hander in sight. She comes in, bowls a low full toss, driven but not timed by Lees, straight to Dunkley, extra cover. Another dot ball, 51 for 3, South Africa.
Yeah, it seems kind of pointless having a night watchman out there and then being stood on the bat handle at the non-striker's end. So if England can get Suna Lees here, I think you'll see quite the celebration, as the leg slip from the first ball has come into a second gully, so that away shape, they're looking for the outside edge.
Izzy Wong, ball in hand, short ball, and sways out the way, does Lees. Doesn't have to get too involved with that one, and Izzy Wong will probably be a bit annoyed with herself there. She wants to make every ball count, and that shorter delivery needs to be more body line to cause a few issues for Suna Lees. 2 balls remain in the day. England desperate for that wicket. And of course the wicket of Alice Davison-Richards fell on the second to last ball of yesterday's play.
Here we go then.
Izzy Wong. In she comes, full and defended to point by Lees. She survives another delivery. And now just the one ball remains in the day. One ball to survive. Can England get one more breakthrough? Even if they didn't, you'd feel they'd be quite happy with these 12 overs they've been battling.
Without a shadow of a doubt, it has been their day, and this would just be the icing on the cake, really, if they were to be able to remove at least this ball as we see it, as another catcher comes in to a leg slip.
Send them all in, you'd think.
There's
Everyone
a humongous gap. There's basically no one in front of the bat, only short leg in front of the bat here.
Izzy Wong takes a deep breath, the top of her mark, and bowls full and past the edge of the bat of Lees. It's gone through Amy Jones. The ball races away down to the boundary rope, and it will be byes, 4 byes to finish the day's play. What a dramatic ending to this rain-delayed day at Taunton. England taking those 2 wickets in that final session. The big wicket of Laura Woolfart, caught at gully by Siver for the bowling of Wong for 16, and then Lara Goodall bowled Wong, caught Jones with that edge behind. There could have been a wicket again on that final ball, but what a fantastic day's play. And Izzy Wong, the hero of that final session, 45 overs bowled in today's play, 144 runs but 5 wickets. So it's been a dramatic day's action. How would you say, I mean, you mentioned earlier Anya Shrubsole, England on top. How do you see tomorrow playing out?
Well, I think it will be England coming back here wanting to get 7 wickets. Obviously still a fair way ahead of South Africa. One of their main batters out in Laura Woolfart, and it'll be up to South Africa. They're probably already thinking about batting for the draw. I don't see how they can win from this position. So hopefully the weather lets us get a reasonable amount of play in tomorrow, and England will be really pushing for a victory, and they deserve it. They've played really well over the last 2 days. In these kind of truncated sessions that we've had, they've been aggressive with the ball and picked up 3 wickets and put themselves in a really good position in this game.
South Africa trailed by 78, and just to remind to everyone, final day, we've lost overs today, 109 overs for us to enjoy possibly tomorrow.
Fingers crossed the weather will stay away. We see the covers being pushed onto the pitch, and I'm sure all the protective equipment will be put out there tonight in case there's any overnight rain. We see Henry Moran diving in to join us, and then I'll be passing over to Georgia Elwes.
Thank you very much, Melissa, and we'll have a quick little 2 minutes or so just to wrap up some final thoughts on the day. England got that wicket in the session that they were looking for, Anya. We spoke about it, and that really does feel like a big moment in this game. Laura Woolfart gone. Yeah,
absolutely, and it was a brilliant over. She'd had a couple of flirts at the ball already, and then found the edge and a stunning catch by Nat Siver, who's taking this Test match by storm.
Georgia Elwes back with us as well. Georgia, how will England be feeling heading into the dressing room?
Well, I'll be absolutely buzzing, I would have thought. I saw them walking off, huge smiles on their faces, full of energy. The adrenaline will be pumping, I'm sure. Izzy Wong, what a superstar. She's been asked to do a job by Heather Knight, and she's come in, and she just looks like that this is what she's made for. She's made for the big games. She loves the big occasion. She loves it when the team needs something from her, and she's delivered.
Some final thoughts, Anya, before we say goodbye. England come back tomorrow with 78 runs still ahead. South Africa 3 wickets down. Realistically, this is an England victory, isn't it?
You would think so. Obviously, weather seems to be a bit more rain around potentially tomorrow, and obviously Marizanne Kapp, who scored a sublime 150 in the first innings of this game, yet to bat, and South Africa will fight as hard as they possibly can, and then first it will be, I guess, to get up to parity, and then see how far they get beyond. And obviously the more England have to chase, the more time that kind of takes out of the game, but England well and truly in the box seat here.
You'd agree with that, Georgia?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that South Africa are going to have to break the day's play down into small chunks and work through that. There's no reason that with the talent they've got in their lineup that they can't bat out the day and surpass England's total and go on and set them something, but I think they're going to have to bat well. This England side are fired up. They'll come back tomorrow full of energy again, and yeah, be looking to go really hard.
Well, Anya, this has been your Test match special debut. You're not with us tomorrow, but have you enjoyed it?
I have loved it. Yeah, I think for someone who's quite introverted, there's been a lot of talking. I must admit, I feel quite worried. I'm not as battle hardened as some others, but I've absolutely loved it. Hopefully, talked some sense amongst some nonsense about banana and cream whilst we were trying to. It would make a change in this room. About banana and yogurt whilst we were trying to fill some time. But no, I've absolutely loved it. Disappointed I'm not here tomorrow. Now this game's set up so well.
Yeah, as are we, but no doubt you'll be back with us very soon. Really looking forward to that. Thank you to Anya Shrobsole, to Georgia Elwis, to Alex Hartley, Phil Long, our scorer, Stefan Schemmeld, Melissa Story as well. Thank you to Charlotte Swift, who's been making sure that we've had things to talk about when there was long rain delays, and there was plenty of them today. We've had a lot of fun though, as always. Thank you for listening. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 10:45, for the final day of this Test match. It's set up beautifully. Typically the rain is now falling here again in Taunton. It has been that sort of day. Check out the highlights from 10 p.m. on the